Chapter 3920. Before entering the Elven ancestral land, the potential of Lu Ming's cells had reached 100%. However, after entering the Elven ancestral land, Lu Ming had experienced a series of battles, including the battle with the dark spirits and the Elven prodigies. He had been severely injured in several battles, which had continuously stimulated the potential stored in his cells. At this time, the potential stored in Lu Ming's cells was almost zero. Once the potential stored in his cells was zero, it would be difficult for Lu Ming to recover quickly. Therefore, Lu Ming planned to absorb the Elven Tree Heart first to store potential. After stimulating so much potential, Lu Ming's cultivation base had also become stronger, and he was closer to the Divine Emperor realm. Of course, there was still a long way to go before he could fully step into the Divine Emperor realm. Lu Ming took out an Elven Tree Heart and started to absorb it. The absorption speed of the Elven Tree Heart was very fast. Soon, the Elven Tree Heart was completely absorbed, and the potential stored in Lu Ming's cells increased by 1%. Then he took out the second one, the third one. When Lu Ming had absorbed and refined 100 Elven Tree Hearts, the potential stored in his cells had reached 100%. At this time, Lu Ming came out of seclusion and continued to hunt the dark spirits. For the next 7 days, Lu Ming was on the 8th level, hunting the dark spirits. In the end, Lu Ming's dark spirit bead array had a total of 108 bowl-sized dark spirit beads. Once the array of dark spirit beads was activated, its power increased by more than 10 times. Anyway, the ordinary wandering dark spirits on the 8th level were suppressed by the array of dark spirit beads. They shrank in place, trembling, and were at the mercy of Lu Ming. At this time, Lu Ming was ready to go to the 9th level. No matter how strong the dark spirits on the 9th level were, Lu Ming should be able to pass through unimpeded with the array of dark spirit beads. There were 2 entrances to the 9th level on the 8th level. Lu Ming had already made a mark on the 2 entrances. He went to the nearest entrance and successfully entered the 9th level. On the 9th level, the vitality was extremely strong. The ordinary trees had almost turned into spiritual wood. Of course, the suppression between heaven and earth was also very terrifying. For experts like Hua Ding and Lin Xie, if they were to enter the 9th level, they would be crushed miserably. Lu Ming could kill them with one punch. There must be a lot of elven trees on this level. Lu Ming looked expectant, randomly chose a direction, and flew in that direction. However, after flying for tens of thousands of miles, Lu Ming did not find a single sprite tree. What's going on? Logically speaking, the chances of an elven tree seed appearing on the 9th floor were higher than on the 8th floor. How could they not find a single elven tree seed after flying for over 10,000 miles? Lu Ming was puzzled. At this moment, a few terrifying auras flew over from the distance. They were a few evil spirits. What made Lu Ming's face change slightly was the strength of these dark spirits. They were at least several times stronger than the ordinary dark spirits on the 8th level. Lu Ming quickly activated the array of the dark spirit bead, and a powerful deterrent force erupted. The few dark spirits were frightened and fled one after another. Phew! Lu Ming breathed a sigh of relief. He secretly rejoiced that he had spent some time hunting some dark spirits on the 8th floor to strengthen the array of the dark spirit bead. Otherwise, it would have been really dangerous to face such a terrifying dark spirit on the 9th floor. After scaring away the dark spirits, Lu Ming continued to look for elven trees. Next, Lu Ming encountered several batches of dark spirits. Each dark spirit was very powerful, but when Lu Ming activated the array of dark spirit beads, he successfully scared them away. Lu Ming searched for tens of thousands of miles, but he did not find a single elven tree spirit tree. Lu Ming's face was a little gloomy. The 9th level, as the highest level of the world, had the most vigorous life essence. It should have bred the most elven trees. Moreover, it was said that no one from the elves had reached the 9th level for 100 stellar years. There should be more elven trees on the 9th level. Why couldn't he find one after searching for so long? This did not make sense. Lu Ming did not believe it and continued to search. A few hours later, Lu Ming suddenly felt refreshed. He had found something. In a flash, Lu Ming appeared above a huge tree. On the branch of this tree, there was a fruit, exuding a rich life essence. A high-grade elven tree spirit tree. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Feeling the richness of the life essence, Lu Ming immediately judged that this was a high-grade elven tree spirit tree. Lu Ming peeled the fruit, and there was indeed a high-grade elven tree spirit tree inside. He did not expect that the first fruit he found on the 9th level was a high-grade elven tree spirit tree. Lu Ming took out a jade box and put it inside. In this way, Lu Ming had already obtained 12 advanced elven tree species and completed the mission given by Ling Huafeng. Of course, Lu Ming would not be satisfied with this. A high-grade elven tree seed would reward 1,000 elven wood cores, so naturally, the more the better. Lu Ming continued his search. After searching for half a day, Lu Ming still couldn't find a single low-level elven tree seed or an intermediate elven tree seed. However, Lu Ming found a high-level elven tree seed. I see. All the factors that could breed elven trees in this layer have been taken away by the advanced elven trees. Therefore, this layer can't breed low-level elven trees or intermediate elven trees. If it were to breed, it would only breed advanced elven trees. Bones speculated. That should be the case. Lu Ming also nodded. He had also thought of this point. Otherwise, there was no other explanation. But it was also good. All of them were breeding high-grade elven tree species. The number of high-grade elven tree species on this floor would definitely be shocking. Following this, Lu Ming became even more excited as he searched. Sure enough, the elven trees that he found were all high-level elven trees. 1, 2, 3. Lu Ming stayed on the 9th floor for half a month and almost searched the entire floor. In the end, he found a total of 38 high-level elven tree species. Yes, a total of 38, and all of them were high-level elven trees. In addition to the previous 11, there were a total of 49 high-level elven tree species. The smile on Lu Ming's face almost never disappeared. 49 high-level elven tree species, how much reward would the elves give? A total of 49,000 elven wood cores. Lu Ming was really afraid that he would take away all the elven wood cores of the elves. However, the elves only had slightly more than 100 mature high-level elven trees for countless years. If they saw that Lu Ming had brought out 49 high-level elven tree species, what kind of expression would they have? Anyway, with so many elven wood cores in his hands, Lu Ming was already very satisfied. He would use at most 1,000 elven wood cores to break through to the Divine Emperor realm. 40 to 50,000 elven wood cores were enough for him to use for a long time. Chapter 39:21. However, Lu Ming thought of a problem, and the smile on his face disappeared. There is actually a dimensional door, Lu Ming whispered. On the 9th floor, Lu Ming actually saw a vortex, which was a dimensional door. This was definitely not a dimensional door to go out, because it was very simple to go out. Just go back along the original path to the 1st floor and you can go out. Could this dimensional door lead to the next floor? According to the previous pattern, it was really possible. There were 9 entrances from the 1st floor to the 2nd floor. There were 8 entrances from the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor. All the way down, there were 2 entrances from the 8th floor to the 9th floor. Then, there was an entrance to the 9th floor, which was just in line with the pattern. Could there be a 10th floor? However, didn't the elves say that there was only a 9th floor? How could there be a 10th floor? Lu Ming was very curious. The harvest on the 9th floor was already so great. If there was a 10th floor, how great would the harvest be? Lu Ming was very tempted and planned to explore. But if there is a 10th floor, will the dark spirits be very terrifying? Can my current array of dark spirit beads deter them? Lu Ming was a little hesitant. Should he go back to the 8th floor to hunt more dark spirits? Whether there is a 10th floor or not, I still don't know. I will go and take a look first. Be careful. If I find that the dark spirits are too terrifying, I will immediately retreat. Lu Ming made a decision, then restrained his aura and stepped into the vortex. The next moment, Lu Ming appeared in a strange world. When Lu Ming looked around, he was a little stunned. Because this world was completely different from the previous world. The previous world, no matter which world it was lush and full of vitality. But this world was completely different. There were stones everywhere, and it was dead silent. There was not a single plant to be found. How could this be? Lu Ming showed a puzzled look. The world after the 9th floor was not full of vitality, but dead silence. This was beyond Lu Ming's expectations. Lu Ming decided to take a good look. Lu Ming restrained his aura and flew out. However, as far as the eye could see, everything was deathly still. There was no sign of life. And in this world, there was no evil spirit tower, nor were there any evil spirits. It was as if Lu Ming was the only living being in this world. Behind the vibrant world was a dead world. What did this mean? Lu Ming was puzzled. However, he could not suppress the curiosity in his heart. He sped up and flew forward, determined to find out what was going on. After flying for several million miles, it was still deathly still. He didn't find any plants or living creatures. Could it be that this is a dead world? Lu Ming was a little disappointed. Originally, he thought that he would be able to gain a lot, but in the end, he found that there was nothing. That's not right. At this time, Lu Ming suddenly felt that something was wrong. He could vaguely sense wisps of life aura flowing in the air. This trace of life essence was very faint. If one didn't sense it carefully, they wouldn't be able to sense it. This life essence emerged from the ground and then flowed slowly in one direction. However, it was very faint and very slow. If one didn't sense it carefully, it would be easy to miss it. It seemed that this world wasn't completely lifeless. It was just that the life essence seemed to be attracted by something. Let's go take a look. Lu Ming was very curious. He spread out his spirit sense and flew in the direction where the life essence was gathering. In this way, Lu Ming flew for half a day. After half a day, Lu Ming finally saw a shocking scene. In front of him, on the ground, there was a towering ancient tree. This was the only plant that Lu Ming saw in this world. However, this tree was too tall. It was more than 10,000 feet tall, and the crown of the tree covered the sky. From a distance, this ancient tree was shining with divine light. Every leaf was flowing with rich life essence. Between the branches, Lu Ming saw a fruit. No, it was 2 fruits. On the other side of the branch, Lu Ming saw 2 more fruits. The 2 fruits were emerald green and filled with extremely rich life essence. Compared to the life essence of the high-level elven tree that Lu Ming had obtained before, it was 10 times denser. No, it was 100 times denser. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. He couldn't believe it. This world was completely barren, but the first tree he saw was already so shocking. The key was, what level of elven tree was it? It far surpassed the high-level elven tree. Could it be the legendary holy seed of the elven race, the holy tree seed? Right? It must be the elven race's holy tree seed. There's no mistake. I just didn't expect it to give birth to 2 holy tree seeds. The bone demon's voice sounded, also full of surprise. I heard Ling Yue mention before that even if the elven holy tree seed was born, there would only be 1. How could there be 2? Lu Ming was also very surprised. This is very simple. No one has entered this world for too long. Moreover, this tree has undergone a mutation and absorbed the essence of the entire world. That's why it was able to give birth to the holy tree seed, and there are even 2 of them. Not only the holy tree seed, this tree is also extraordinary. If an elf can cultivate here for a period of time and fuse with a wisp of essence energy from the tree, there will definitely be an astonishing change. The bone demon explained. He flew out from between Lu Ming's eyebrows and carefully stared at the ancient tree in front of him, making many deductions. 2 holy tree seeds. I wonder what kind of reward will be given to the elves. Lu Ming's eyes emitted a dazzling light. Give both of them to the elves? Are you stupid? The bone demon disdained. If I don't give it to the elves, it's useless for me to keep it. Lu Ming said. How can it be useless? It's of great use. You can just hand over one of the 2 holy tree seeds. Keep the other one for yourself and find a way to nurture it in the future. If you nurture it to maturity, it will be very beneficial for your cultivation. If you want to establish a force, the benefits will be even greater. At the same time, you can allow countless people to cultivate under the tree and increase their cultivation. The bone demon said. Lu Ming pondered for a moment before nodding his head in the end. Although he didn't have the intention to establish a force now, it was hard to say in the future. Right now, it was just that his cultivation was still too low. In the future, when he was stronger, he could learn from Dark Knight Rose and establish a force to compete with the Heavenly Palace. It wasn't a bad choice. Keep it first. Lu Ming stepped out and came to the crown of the ancient tree. Huff huff, rich life essence rushed toward Lu Ming like a gust of wind. Lu Ming waved his hand and broke through the life essence. He came to the bottom of a fruit and plucked it. With a stroke of his finger, the fruit was split open. Suddenly, a beam of green light shot into the sky. Extremely rich life essence burst out. Whoosh! Chapter 39:22. A sparkling and translucent seed flew out like a ray of light. It was very agile and wanted to escape. It still has spirituality? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He used the greater divine wind technique. His body was wrapped in a gust of wind. In a flash, he chased after the seed. In a few flashes, he caught up with the seed. He condensed a large hand and grabbed at the seed. However, the seed was very agile. With a turn, it dodged Lu Ming's hand and rushed out from another direction. Interesting. Lu Ming smiled. His face was very calm. Everything was under his control. With a wave of his hand, a gust of wind blew between heaven and earth. The wind swept through heaven and earth. The surrounding territory was shrouded in the gust of wind. The gust of wind was like a wind wall. When the seed hit the gust of wind, it was directly bounced back. Then the area covered by the gust of wind kept shrinking. In the end, it was only an area of 1 square meter. The seed tried to break out, but it was a pity that it couldn't break out. Now, let's see where you can run to. Lu Ming's face was full of smiles. He walked out from the gust of wind. He reached out and grabbed the seed. It was tightly controlled. Thereafter, Lu Ming took out a jade box and placed the seed of the sacred tree into it. He then took out a talisman and pasted it on the jade box. Immediately, a halo appeared and enveloped the jade box. This talisman had a sealing function. It was used to seal divine pills, divine weapons, and other items to prevent their spirituality from leaking. Lu Ming had killed countless opponents and obtained many storage rings. There were all kinds of things. There were also a lot of talismans used for sealing. After sealing it, he put it in a storage ring. Then, he came to the second fruit that gave birth to the seed. This time, Lu Ming was prepared. He shrouded the surroundings with a gust of wind. Even if the seed wanted to escape, it had nowhere to go. Then, Lu Ming broke open the fruit. As expected, once the fruit was broken open, the seed inside flew out. It wanted to escape, but it was easily captured by Lu Ming and sealed. 2 holy tree seeds. The quality seems to be about the same. I'll keep one for myself. Lu Ming kept one of the seeds of the holy tree into the Jianghu painting scroll. This was equivalent to his personal belongings. I wonder if there are any more holy tree seeds on the 10th level? Lu Ming's eyes shone, revealing a look of anticipation. Don't think about it. It's already a miracle to be able to give birth to 2 holy tree seeds. Only after exhausting the life essence of this world could it give birth. How could there be more? The bone demon stared. Lu Ming smiled awkwardly. However, he was still indignant and continued to search in this world. After knowing that there were no evil spirits in this world, Lu Ming became bolder. There was no need to control his speed. He used the Great Divine Wind technique to the extreme and flew at a high speed. In this way, his exploration speed was very fast. Within a few days, he had finished exploring the 10th level. In fact, other than the towering tree that nurtured the seed of the holy tree, there were no other plants. You're saying that this tree is very useful to the elves? Once again, he returned to the towering ancient tree that gave birth to the holy tree seed. Lu Ming asked the bone demon. It's definitely more useful than you can imagine. The bone demon answered with certainty. Then do you want to bring Ling Yue here and give her a stroke of good fortune? Lu Ming muttered. In the end, he decided to give Ling Yue a stroke of good fortune. Ling Yue's character was pretty good. The two of them had a pretty good relationship along the way. Moreover, he planned to hand over a holy tree seed anyway, so it wasn't a big deal to expose this ancient tree. Immediately, Lu Ming returned the way he came. From the 9th floor, back to the 8th floor, and then back to the 7th floor. When he arrived at the 7th floor, Lu Ming stopped. He planned to look for Ling Yue here. Without the help of external forces, it would be rather troublesome to search. However, Lu Ming's luck was not bad. 2 days later, he actually met Ling Yue on the 7th floor. This was because before entering the Elven ancestral land, Ling Yue had told him that her goal was the 7th floor. Although Ling Yue's cultivation wasn't very high, she had the bloodline of the Elven royal family and was extremely intimidating to the evil spirits. At the same time, the other Elven geniuses wouldn't attack her, so she could still barely move around on the 7th floor. Where have you been all this time? I've been looking for you everywhere, but I haven't been able to find you. Ling Yue stared at Lu Ming with hidden bitterness, but from the depths of her eyes, Lu Ming could still see deep worry. I've been looking for you everywhere too. Lu Ming lied with his eyes wide open. After he finished speaking, his tone changed as he said, "Come with me, I've prepared a fortuitous encounter for you." You prepared a fortuitous encounter for me? What fortuitous encounter? Ling Yue revealed a curious expression. Come with me and you'll know. Lu Ming smiled and kept her in suspense as he walked towards the nearest entrance to the 8th floor. You're still playing mysterious with me? I'd like to see what kind of opportunity you've prepared. Ling Yue's gaze turned as she followed behind Lu Ming. Not long after, the two of them arrived in front of a whirlpool. This is the whirlpool that leads to the 8th floor. What are you doing? Are you going to the 8th floor? Let me tell you, the evil spirits on the 8th floor are extremely terrifying. Even my Elven royal family bloodline is unable to intimidate them. Ling Yue hurriedly said, her eyes filled with disbelief. Just follow me. Do you think I'll harm you? Lu Ming smiled and walked towards the whirlpool. The bastard. Ling Yue gritted her teeth, but she was afraid that something would happen to Lu Ming, so she quickly followed and grabbed onto Lu Ming's arm. The two of them pulled each other together and reached the next level. They would definitely stay together. If they entered separately and entered the next level, there would still be a deviation in distance. They were afraid that something unexpected would happen. After reaching the 8th floor, Ling Yue was extremely nervous. Her eyes kept rolling around, as if she was afraid that an evil spirit would rush out. Mu Yun, this is the 8th floor. It's very dangerous. Let's go back. Ling Yue said. As for the opportunity that Lu Ming had mentioned, she no longer believed it. The opportunity would be on the 8th floor? How was this possible? How did Lu Ming know that there was an opportunity on the 8th floor? As for Lu Ming personally looking for it on the 8th floor, she didn't believe it at all. If Lu Ming was alone on the 8th floor, he would be torn to pieces by the evil spirits here. Why should I go back? I've been on the 8th floor for many days. It's fine, don't worry. Lu Ming smiled and stepped forward. Ling Yue followed closely behind Lu Ming, her eyes busy as she looked around. You've been on the 8th floor for many days, don't lie to me. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child that's easy to fool? Let's go back. Ling Yue said, extremely nervous. Chapter 39-23. Ling Yue was really nervous. She was the Elven princess, so she understood the Elven ancestral land too well. She was even more clear about how dangerous the 8th floor was. Even the top geniuses of the 3rd and 4th level of the Divine Emperor realm would be in great danger if they entered the 8th floor. If they encountered a large group of evil spirits, they would most likely die. With their strength, if they encountered an evil spirit, they would definitely die. It would be strange if she wasn't nervous. She stood at the side, glancing at Lu Ming from time to time with a resentful gaze. Lu Ming pretended not to see it and stepped forward, heading towards the entrance to the 9th floor. A terrifying roar rang out, and the evil spirits appeared. Moreover, as soon as they appeared, there were more than 10 of them. They flew towards Lu Ming and the others at an astonishing speed. Ling Yue's small face instantly turned deathly pale, without a trace of blood. Evil spirit, it's an evil spirit, let's go. Ling Yue cried out in alarm, pulling Lu Ming's arm. She was about to run away. However, Lu Ming was here, not moving at all. Ling Yuwei was greatly suppressed here. Lu Ming was not suppressed, so she naturally could not pull Lu Ming away. However, at this moment, she didn't have the mood to wonder why she couldn't pull Lu Ming away. Right now, she was completely in chaos. Mu Yun, let's go, the evil spirits are here. Ling Yuwei shouted, on the verge of tears. However, Lu Ming stood there with a smile on his face, not moving at all. Lu Ming didn't leave, and she wouldn't leave by herself. Seeing that the dozen or so terrifying evil spirits were about to reach them, the cold aura caused goosebumps to rise all over their bodies. Scram! At this time, Ling Yuwei shouted and stepped forward, blocking in front of Lu Ming. She pushed the elf royal bloodline to the extreme, hoping to use the elf royal bloodline to intimidate these evil spirits. However, these evil spirits were all very powerful. Although they were still a little afraid of the elf royal bloodline, the fear in their eyes only flashed for a moment before it disappeared. They roared a few times and continued to pounce towards Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. It's over! This was the only thought left in Ling Yuwei's mind. The elven royal bloodline could not intimidate these evil spirits. With their own strength, they would definitely die. However, at this moment, Ling Yuwei felt a strange aura spreading out from behind her, rushing forward. When those evil spirits were hit by this aura, their eyes were filled with terror. They screamed a few times and turned to run, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Ling Yuwei stood there in a daze, her mind a little muddled. What was going on? Why did those evil spirits suddenly flee in fear like mice meeting a cat? Then she turned around and saw Lu Ming smiling at her. There were some round pearls floating above Lu Ming's head. The strange aura was coming from these round pearls. I've said it before, there's no need to be afraid. I've stayed on the 8th level for many days. Lu Ming repeated what he said before. This is a bead bred by an evil spirit? It can actually intimidate evil spirits. Where did you get it? After all, Ling Yuwei was a proud daughter of heaven. She quickly calmed down and stared at the evil spirit bead formation on Lu Ming's body. Ling Yuwei naturally knew about the evil spirit bead. In history, there were also elven geniuses who obtained the evil spirit bead from the evil spirits, but they never knew what use it had. I got it by chance in a place on the 5th floor. It's very useful. The evil spirits don't even dare to approach me. Lu Ming said. Of course, this was all nonsense from Lu Ming. Naturally, he wouldn't say that this was refined by the bone demon, nor would he say that he refined it himself. How could a young man like him refine such a treasure? The elves would definitely suspect him and ask him to hand over the refining method. Therefore, saying that he had accidentally picked it up was the best excuse. Picked it up? Could it be that it was developed by a genius of our elven race? Left behind in the 5th level? Ling Yuwei began to imagine for herself. Lu Ming did not explain further and continued to fly forward. This time, Ling Yuwei was much more at ease as she followed Lu Ming. On the way, they encountered a few evil spirits, but all of them were easily scared away by the evil spirit beads array formation. Especially once, when at least 100 evil spirits were scared away by the evil spirit beads array formation, Ling Yuwei was finally completely relieved. However, Ling Yuwei immediately thought of another question. Why didn't I see a single elven tree seed on the 8th floor? Mu Yun, did you really stay on the 8th floor for many days? Ling Yuwei asked. I've already said it several times. Lu Ming said. Then did you plunder all the elven tree seeds on the 8th floor? Ling Yuwei said, her big eyes filled with anticipation and excitement. Lu Ming nodded. Ling Yuwei's eyes immediately emitted a dazzling light. Then have you found all 12 high-level elven tree seeds? Then he saw Ling Yuwei giggling foolishly. She was too happy. Lu Ming had completed his mission. This time, her father, her second uncle, and the others had nothing to say. Lu Ming had proven his value. He wouldn't let her marry someone from the angel race anymore, right? Soon, they arrived at another entrance. The entrance to the 9th floor? You're not going to the 9th floor, are you? Ling Yuwei's eyes widened again. Lu Ming nodded. You didn't stay on the 9th floor for many days, did you? Don't tell me you've obtained all the elven tree seeds on the 9th floor? N. Ling Yue stopped talking, her entire person was in a daze. She instinctively followed Lu Ming into the 9th floor, then circled around and arrived at the entrance to the 10th floor. Only then did Ling Yue come back to her senses. But why is there another entrance? Where does this lead to? Ling Yue asked. Of course it's the 10th floor. Lu Ming replied. Ling Yue continued to be in a daze, her eyes wide open. She realized that she was more astonished today than before. All of this was brought about by Lu Ming. Not only did Lu Ming plunder all the elven tree seeds on the 8th and 9th floors, but there was also a 10th floor in the ancestral land of the elves. As the princess of the elves, she didn't know about this. What was on the 10th floor? Let's go. Lu Ming stepped out, and Ling Yue hurriedly followed. When the two of them arrived at the 10th floor and looked at the dead silent land, Ling Yue was stunned. This was completely different from what she had imagined. Lu Ming didn't care about her. Bringing Ling Yue with him, he quickly headed towards the ancient tree that was giving birth to the holy tree seed. Ling Yue suppressed the questions in her heart and followed Lu Ming. Finally, the towering tree appeared in front of them. This. Chapter 39-24. Ling Yue was simply too excited. As a member of the elven royal family, she possessed the bloodline of the elven royal family. The moment she saw this towering ancient tree, the bloodline in her body reacted and became abnormally excited. Could this be the holy seed mother tree that gave birth to the holy tree seed? When Ling Yue spoke, her voice trembled. Holy seed mother tree? Lu Ming was puzzled. That's right, it's the tree that gave birth to the holy tree seed. It's called the holy seed mother tree. As Ling Yue spoke, she looked at Lu Ming and said, Mu Yun, could it be that you obtained the holy tree seed? That's right, I did obtain the holy tree seed. Lu Ming nodded his head. He had originally planned to hand one over, so there was no need to hide it. Ling Yue was petrified, her entire body stiffened as she stared at Lu Ming with her big eyes. She was completely dumbfounded. She felt as if her thoughts had exploded and she couldn't control them anymore. The holy tree seed, it was actually the holy tree seed. Mu Yun had actually obtained the holy tree seed. This was something she would never have dreamed of in the past. It was simply too dreamy. However, the holy seed mother tree was right in front of her, so she had no choice but to believe it. After a while, Ling Yue took a deep breath and forced herself to calm down a little. However, she was still extremely excited. Lu Ming had actually obtained a holy tree seed. If he were to take it out, the entire elf clan would be alarmed. With such a great contribution, let's see what her father and second uncle had to say. Obtaining a seed of the holy tree was even more beneficial and powerful to the elves than obtaining the help of the angels. Relying on others was ultimately just relying on others. How much could he rely on? As for the holy tree seed, it would be able to nurture the elven holy tree in the future. The reason why the elf clan was ranked 33rd in the prehistoric 10,000 races was because they no longer had the elven holy tree. If they had the elven holy tree again, the strength of the elf clan would definitely increase greatly. As long as they had enough time, the elf clan would definitely enter the top 30. There was even a high chance of entering the top 20. This was a matter that concerned the rise and fall of a race. Lu Ming had obtained such a great merit, so who among the elves would oppose the marriage between the two of them? She definitely wouldn't have to marry an angel. This could be said to be perfect. It was hundreds of times more perfect than she had imagined. I feel that this tree will be helpful to you. What do you think? Is there any help? Lu Ming said. Of course it's helpful. Ling Yue nodded her head and said excitedly, the holy seed mother tree is very strange. Once the seed of the holy tree is taken away, it will naturally wither in 3 months. However, the holy seed mother tree contains an abundant amount of primordial essence qi. This primordial essence qi has an unimaginable effect on the elves. Once absorbed and refined, it will lead to a huge evolution. Ling Yue explained as she looked at the holy seed mother tree, her eyes revealing a blazing light. The holy seed mother tree was an opportunity that every elf looked forward to. It was a great fortune and it was extremely useful to the elves. So that's how it is. Then it means that I didn't bring you here for nothing. Go and cultivate. There's still more than a month until the end of the examination. Hurry up, Lu Ming said. Thank you. Ling Yue stared at Lu Ming, staring straight at Lu Ming. No. Just as Lu Ming was about to speak, Ling Yue pounced on him and kissed Lu Ming on the face. A burst of fragrance wafted over, causing Lu Ming to be stunned. What was going on? Big sister, don't misunderstand. Lu Ming roared in his heart. While Lu Ming was in a daze, Ling Yue had already flown towards the mother tree with a red face, leaving Lu Ming alone in the wind. Ling Yue arrived under the holy seed mother tree and sat down cross-legged. In the next moment, Ling Yue's body emitted a resplendent light, and a towering tree appeared behind Ling Yue. At this moment, the holy seed mother tree also emitted a myriad of multicolored light, resonating with Ling Yue. The light emitted by the two intertwined, becoming indistinguishable from each other. Slowly, Ling Yue's body actually moved towards the holy seed mother tree, and in the end, completely merged with the holy seed mother tree. Lu Ming could see that the light on the holy seed mother tree was constantly converging towards Ling Yue. Ling Yue was silently undergoing some changes. Time passed day by day. Very quickly, nearly a month passed in the blink of an eye. At this time, the holy seed mother tree underwent a huge change. At this time, the holy seed mother tree had become withered and yellow. All of its essence, energy, and spirit had disappeared. Below, Ling Yue's body reappeared, but it was emitting a myriad of multicolored light. At the same time, a terrifying fluctuation spread out. Boom! A powerful aura burst out from Ling Yue's body. Second level of the Divine Emperor realm. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Ling Yue's cultivation had actually reached the second level of the Divine Emperor realm. She had only broken through to the first level of the Divine Emperor realm not long ago, but now she had broken through to the second level of the Divine Emperor realm. This speed was absolutely astonishing. However, Lu Ming felt that Ling Yue's greatest change, her greatest gain, was not the increase in her cultivation, but the increase in her own body. Ling Yue had definitely undergone a qualitative change. Swish! At this time, Ling Yue opened her eyes. Two emerald green arrows shot out from her eyes, directly piercing through space, causing two pitch-black passageways to appear in the air. Following that, Ling Yue soared into the sky and stood in midair, her body emitting a terrifying aura. This aura was not an aura emitted by one's cultivation base, but rather an aura of the essence. The aura of a superior being was like that of a fairy king, patrolling her people. Bloodline, has it evolved? Lu Ming whispered. She must have evolved. She has taken a big step closer to the original elves. This is the real Elven Emperor. In the future, her talent will be very terrifying. It will be very easy for her to cultivate the secret skills of the elves. The Bone Demon said. Even the Bone Demon used the word terrifying to describe Ling Yue. It was definitely not simple. Lu Ming revealed a smile. In any case, Ling Yue was a friend and not an enemy. The stronger she was, the better it would be for Lu Ming. At this time, the aura on Ling Yue's body was withdrawn, and she returned to her usual state. However, Lu Ming still faintly felt that Ling Yue had changed. The essence of life had changed. It was as if he had changed from a lower life form to a higher life form. Mu Yun, thank you. Ling Yue came in front of Lu Ming and sincerely thanked him. Only she knew how great of a fortune she had obtained. This holy seed mother tree was actually more useful than the legendary holy seed mother tree, allowing her to obtain an unimaginable harvest. The increase in her cultivation was secondary. The most important thing was that her talent had increased by a large amount. Her previous talent was already terrifying and was at the peak of the universe. How strong was she now? Chapter 39-25. Even Ling Yue herself couldn't figure out how strong her current talent was. This point needed to be slowly dug out in the future. In any case, she felt that it should be stronger than the blood azura that Xiao Wuji had transformed into. Of course, she didn't know that this holy seed mother tree had borne 2 holy tree seeds. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been puzzled. Alright, the 3-month period is almost up. Let's go back, Lu Ming said. Ling Yue nodded. Immediately, the two of them returned to the 9th floor. Not long after arriving at the 9th floor, they encountered a few powerful evil spirits. Just as Lu Ming was about to take out the evil spirit bead array, Ling Yue stopped Lu Ming. Let me do it. Ling Yue took a step forward, and a powerful aura spread out. This aura was high and mighty, many times higher than the elven royal bloodline. When those evil spirits were hit by this aura, they actually revealed an incomparably terrified expression. Then, they turned around and ran, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. They ran even faster than when they encountered the evil spirit bead array. Amazing! Lu Ming exclaimed. It seemed that the bloodline in Ling Yue's body had evolved to an extremely high level. In the future, Ling Yue alone would be able to come and go freely in this ancestral land. Ling Yue also nodded in satisfaction. She retracted her aura and looked the same as before. After that, there was nothing left for Lu Ming. As soon as they encountered an evil spirit, Ling Yue released her aura and those evil spirits immediately fled. Soon, they returned to the 8th floor and then the 7th floor. Almost all the people on the 7th floor had left. After all, the time was almost up. Once the terrifying evil spirits sleeping in the evil spirit tower woke up in 3 months, they wouldn't be able to leave even if they wanted to. Their journey was unimpeded. Finally, they left the elven ancestral land and returned to your palace. Numerous gazes swept over Lu Ming and Ling Yue. They were all the geniuses of the elven race. Lu Ming also looked around and found that the number of elven race geniuses was a little less than when he entered. Obviously, in addition to the few who were killed by Lu Ming, many others had also died in the elven ancestral land. This was good too. No one would suspect him. They waited here for a few days. A few days later, the 3-month period officially arrived. Alright, the 3 months are up. Now, follow me back to the palace. I'll count your gains and give you your rewards. One of the elven elders who had brought them here said. After that, Lu Ming and the others followed the 2 elven elders back to the elven palace and arrived at a huge hall. At this moment, there were already many people in the main hall. Lu Ming glanced around and saw a middle-aged man from the elf tribe sitting at the very top. Although he was sitting casually, he exuded a majestic aura. There were many people on both sides of the hall. There were middle-aged men and white-haired old men. Greetings, Your Majesty. Many elven prodigies bowed to the middle-aged man at the top. Only then did Lu Ming know that the middle-aged man was the emperor of the elven race, Ling Yue's father. Most of the elves in the hall were the upper echelons of the elves. There were elven elders and elven big shots with great power. Ling Yue's second uncle, Ling Huafeng, was also present. As for Ling Yue's cousin, Ling Piao, her cousin, she was also in the hall, sitting behind Ling Huafeng. All of you get up. I believe you have all gained a lot. Today, all the elders of the treasure repository are here. As long as you take out the elven tree seed, we can immediately give you your rewards. Elf Emperor Ling Huashua said. Many elven prodigies' eyes immediately lit up. The treasure repository was the place where the elves stored their treasures. In the past, after the holy seed examination ended, they would first count the elven tree seed and register it before giving out rewards in the future. They didn't expect that this time, it would be given out on the spot. Naturally, the sooner he got the reward, the better. The more at ease he would feel. If he didn't get it, it wouldn't be his. Who knew what would happen? Take out all the elven tree seeds you have obtained. This time, my treasure repository has brought enough elvenwood hearts to give you rewards. An elder of the treasure repository said. Alright, let's start counting. Elf Emperor Ling Huashua waved his hand and gave the order. I'll do it. Immediately, a young elven man stepped forward and came to the center of the hall. Then, he took out a storage ring. The storage ring lit up, and then a few jade boxes flew out and flew towards the elders of the treasure repository. A few elders of the treasure repository waved their hands, and a wave of divine power spread out, dragging the jade boxes. One of the elders stepped forward and opened the jade boxes one by one. As soon as the first jade box was opened, a rich life essence spread out. 1 low-level elven tree seed. A treasure repository elder nodded and opened the second jade box. 1 low-level elven tree seed. 1 low-level elven tree seed. The elders of the treasure repository began to count one by one. In the end, the young man obtained a total of 7 low-level elven tree seeds. A total of 7 low-level elven tree seeds. Each low-level elven tree seed will be rewarded with 10 elven wood hearts. A total of 70 elven wood hearts will be rewarded, the elder of the treasure repository announced. Immediately, a female elder of the treasure repository waved her hand, and elven wood hearts flew out one by one and flew towards the young man. A total of 70 elven wood hearts were rewarded on the spot. The young elven man was overjoyed. He quickly put them away and thanked the elders of the treasure repository and the elf emperor. Of course, the 7 elven tree seeds were put away by the elders of the treasure repository. The elven tree seeds would be stored in the treasure repository first, and they would be cultivated and planted together in the future. After the young man finished counting, a second young man immediately stepped forward. The second person obtained 9 low-level elven tree seeds and 90 elven wood hearts as a reward. The elves who received the reward all smiled. 70 to 90 elven wood hearts was not a small number. Usually, it was not so easy to obtain elven wood hearts. This could be seen from Hua Xing's pained expression when he lost 100 elven wood hearts to Lu Ming. Next, the elven prodigies took out their elven tree seeds and counted them. However, most of them were low-level elven tree seeds. From a few to more than a dozen, all of them. Of course, the ones who stepped forward at the beginning were those with lower cultivation bases. As time went on, the elves with higher cultivation bases slowly stepped forward. Slowly, some elven prodigies took out mid-level elven tree seeds, making many people envious. You want to wait? Ling Yue secretly sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. It's not too late to wait a little longer. Lu Ming smiled. All right, then I'll go count them first. Ling Yue nodded and stepped forward. Chapter 39-26. Seeing Ling Yue step forward, many people's eyes lit up as they began to discuss in low voices. I wonder how the princess's harvest was? How many elven tree seeds did you get? The princess has the bloodline of the elven royal family and is very intimidating to evil spirits. She should be able to gain quite a bit. Someone saw him walk to the 7th level. I wonder if he obtained a high-grade elven tree seed. Many people's gazes fell on Ling Yue, including Ling Huafeng, Ling Piao, and the others. In fact, when Ling Piao and the others saw that Lu Ming had returned safely, their eyes flashed with a cold light and their expressions were very ugly. They had secretly made a lot of preparations. They had originally thought that Lu Ming would definitely not be able to return and would definitely die in the elven ancestral land. Who would have thought that Lu Ming would actually be fine? As for the few elven geniuses who had secretly followed their orders, they did not return. What was going on? For a moment, they couldn't understand. However, even if they were beaten to death, they wouldn't believe that Lu Ming had killed them. They only thought that something unexpected had happened in the elven ancestral land. However, they were still very relieved. They believed that it was impossible for Lu Ming to complete their mission. Princess, please. An elder of the treasure trove bowed slightly. Ling Yue nodded and waved her hand. Jade boxes flew out one by one. Each jade box was a elven tree seed, and there were a total of 29 of them. 29 jade boxes, at least 29 elven tree seeds. The princess's harvest is not small. It's indeed not small. Even if the 29 elven tree seeds are all low level, it's still not a small harvest. Many people were secretly discussing, and a treasure trove hall elder had already begun to count. The first 12 were all low-level elven tree seeds. When the 13th jade box was opened, an even denser life essence burst out. Many people's eyes lit up. It's a mid-level elven tree seed. Someone exclaimed. 1 mid-level elven tree seed. The treasure trove hall elder nodded and continued to count. In the end, Ling Yue's gains were all accounted for. 25 low-level elven tree seeds and 4 mid-level elven tree seeds. A total of 650 elven tree hearts were rewarded. Many people's eyes lit up. All of a sudden, they obtained 650 elven tree hearts. This was a huge harvest, and many people were extremely envious. Ling Yuwei, on the other hand, was expressionless. She accepted the reward and calmly retreated. There was no sign of joy on her face. She was aware of Lu Ming's gains. Compared to Lu Ming, her gains paled in comparison. They were not worth mentioning at all. The count continued. Following that, the people who went up to count their spoils gained more and more. Many people had obtained mid-level elven tree seeds. Time gradually passed. The number of people left gradually dwindled. In the end, only the top geniuses were left. Until now, there had been no high-level elven tree species. Ling Huashua and the other high-ranking members of the elf tribe looked at the remaining prodigies with anticipation. Low-level elven tree species and mid-level elven tree species were good, but they didn't play a vital role in the development of the entire elven race. B. Ho Shui is going up. I wonder how her gains are? Ho Shui must have reached the 7th level. I wonder if she obtained a high-level elven tree seed. Many people were discussing animatedly, and the higher-ups of the elves also revealed looks of anticipation. It's her. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He knew this woman. She was the woman who had competed with Lu Ming for a high-level elven tree seed on the 7th level. Later on, she was defeated by Lu Ming and wanted to cooperate with Lu Ming. She was the woman who left after being rejected by Lu Ming. Ho Shui directly took out her gains. There were more than 50 jade boxes. Many people were secretly amazed. All of a sudden, she took out more than 50 jade boxes. What a great harvest. Not bad. The treasure vault elder nodded and began to count. In the end, Ho Shui had a total of 45 low-level elven tree seeds and 10 mid-level elven tree seeds. What a shocking harvest. However, Ling Huashua, the treasure vault elder, and the others all revealed disappointed expressions. That's all. Is there anything else? The treasure vault elder asked. What they were hoping for was a high-level elven tree seed. There's more. Unexpectedly, Ho Shui nodded. The eyes of Ling Huashua and the other elves immediately lit up. Also, could it be a high-level elven tree seed? They saw another jade box appear in Ho Shui's hand. This jade box was bright and could be seen at a glance that it was extraordinary. The treasure vault elder took it and opened it. Suddenly, an incomparably rich life essence burst out. The entire hall was suddenly filled with rich life essence. High-level elven tree seed. Ling Huashua and the others' eyes lit up, and a smile appeared on their faces. It was really a high-level elven tree seed. Only this level of elven tree seed could attract their attention. The other elves' youths all revealed envious expressions. High-level elven tree seed. One reward of 1,000 elven tree hearts was really too tempting. All of Ho Shui's rewards added up was simply amazing. A smile also appeared on Ho Shui's face. The reward this time was enough for her to use for a long time. What a pity! Ho Shui's gaze swept towards Lu Ming. Unfortunately, Lu Ming took away a high-level elven tree seed. Otherwise, her harvest would be even greater. Ho Shui took her reward and retreated. Then, someone else went up to count. However, although the remaining elves were all top prodigies of the elves, not all of them had obtained high-level elven tree seeds. In fact, when the remaining elves were counted, there were only a total of 4 high-level elven tree seeds. Only 4. Ling Huashua and the others' faces were very ugly. They were very dissatisfied with this harvest because it was not as good as before. In the past, the high-level elven tree seeds they obtained each time would not be less than 5. Why were there only 4 this time? Alright, I've finished checking this time. Go back and cultivate well. The treasure vault elder said. Wait. At this moment, a voice sounded. It was Lu Ming. Lu Ming was a little speechless. He hadn't counted yet. How could it be over? He originally wanted to save it for the finale, but he didn't expect that he would be ignored. At this moment, many people's eyes looked at Lu Ming. Previously, everyone's eyes were on the top prodigies of the elves. Lu Ming had not gone up to count. These people really ignored him. Mu Yun, I thought you didn't have any harvest and didn't dare to come out to count. Ling Piao let out a contemptuous laugh. Chapter 39:27. Actually, Ling Huashua, Ling Huafeng, and Ling Piao had been paying attention to Lu Ming. When they saw that Lu Ming had not come out to count, they thought that Lu Ming was too embarrassed to take it out because his harvest was too little. Especially Ling Piao, she thought that she would definitely be able to chase Lu Ming away this time. She didn't expect that at the last moment, Lu Ming would walk out. Mu Yun, if your harvest is not enough, then don't take it out. I can make the decision to give you 1,000 elven wood cores. Take those elven wood cores and leave the elven race. Ling Piao continued. It was as if he was sending away a beggar, wanting to send Lu Ming away. Many elves revealed expressions of envy and jealousy towards Lu Ming. Just because they had hooked up with Ling Yue, they were able to obtain 1,000 elven wood cores without any harvest, causing them to be extremely jealous. Mu Yun hasn't counted yet. What are you in such a hurry for? Ling Yue looked at Ling Piao indifferently and said, You still want to count? Yue, I'm doing this for his own good, so that he won't lose face in front of everyone, but you don't know how to appreciate my kindness, sigh. Ling Piao deliberately sighed. How do you know that he will lose face? Maybe Mu Yun has already obtained 12 high-level elven tree seeds. Ling Yue said, Puchi. At the scene, someone couldn't help but laugh out loud. However, as soon as he laughed out loud, he held it back and his face flushed red. Ling Yue was the elven princess. The elven emperor was also present at the scene. Even if Ling Yue said something unreliable, they couldn't laugh at Ling Yue. Otherwise, the elven emperor would lose face. However, Ling Piao was still a member of the royal family, and there were very few people in the royal family. Therefore, Ling Piao's status in the elven race was also very high, equivalent to a princess. She wasn't afraid. She laughed out loud and said, Yue, if you want to protect him, you have to be rational. Fortunately, everyone here is on our side. Otherwise, we would have attracted a joke. Alright, I think Piao's suggestion is not bad. Big brother, I also propose to give Mu Yun 1,000 elven wood cores and let him leave the elven race. As for the elven tree seeds that he obtained, let him take them away. There's no need to count them. What do you think? Huafeng spoke and looked at Ling Huashua. Ling Huashua hesitated for a moment. Are you sure you can let me take away the elven seed? Don't regret it. Lu Ming looked at Ling Huafeng with a faint smile. I never regret my words. Ling Huafeng said, No, I must count them. This time, it was Ling Yue's turn to be uneasy. She knew that not only did Lu Ming have a large number of advanced elven tree seeds, but he also had holy tree seeds. This was too important to the elven race, as it would affect their future. If Lu Ming really took away such a treasure, it wouldn't be good for Lu Ming either. This was because the elves would definitely do anything to take it from Lu Ming. At that time, it would be even more dangerous for Lu Ming. Therefore, whether it was for Lu Ming or for the elves, Ling Yue had to stop him. Father, you must count them. Believe me, I won't let you down. Ling Yue eagerly looked at Ling Huashua with a pleading expression. All right, let's count them. In the end, Ling Huashua nodded. You're really asking for humiliation. Ling Piao snorted coldly. Of course, she only snorted coldly in her heart. Since Ling Huashua had already spoken, she naturally didn't dare to say it in public. Mu Yun, let's count them. Ling Yue looked at Lu Ming again with an eager expression. Lu Ming nodded. Actually, he didn't really have the intention to take away the elven tree seed. Even if he took it away, it wouldn't be of much use. He didn't know the method to cultivate the elven tree. Moreover, he already had a holy tree seed, which was enough for him to use in the future. Even if he brought ordinary elven tree seeds with him, it would be useless. Of course, exchanging for the elven wood heart would be more useful to him. Lu Ming stepped out and arrived in front of the elder of the treasure trove hall. In the hall, many of the elven geniuses looked at Lu Ming with schadenfreude, wanting to see Lu Ming make a fool of himself. Lu Ming was expressionless as he calmly took out a storage ring. Then, the storage ring lit up and a large pile of jade boxes flew out. There were about 200 of them. 200 jade boxes floated in the air. It was simply dazzling. Everyone was stunned. So many jade boxes, Could it be that each jade box contains a elven tree seed? Impossible, absolutely impossible. This Mu Yun isn't even a divine emperor. How could he obtain so many elven tree seeds? He probably took them randomly. I bet that most of his jade boxes are empty. Sensationalism, what a joke. In the hall, waves of discussion sounded out. Ling Huafeng, Ling Piao, and the others sneered. Did he think that taking out a large pile of jade boxes would be useful to scare them? Did he think that they were scared? Ridiculous. Elder, let's begin. Lu Ming's expression remained calm as he said to the elder of the treasure trove hall. The elder of the treasure trove hall was also somewhat confused. More than 200 jade boxes really contained elven tree seeds. To be honest, he didn't believe it at all. Previously, even the most powerful prodigy of the elf tribe didn't obtain so many elven tree seeds. Lu Ming was just a quasi-emperor. How could he obtain so many? However, he still had to do his job well. Immediately, he grabbed a jade box and began to count. He opened the lid of the jade box, and suddenly, a rich life essence filled the air. There really is one. It's a low-level elven tree seed. Many people's eyes flickered, and they were a little surprised. There really is one. The elder of the treasure trove hall was also slightly stunned. He didn't expect that out of more than 200 jade boxes, one of them would really contain an elven tree seed. At this point, he still didn't believe that more than 200 jade boxes contained elven tree seeds. He just happened to be lucky and caught one. In fact, many people thought so, including Ling Piao and the others. If you're just lucky. Sensationalism, you'll be exposed sooner or later. Let's see how you deal with this later. Ling Piao sneered in her heart, waiting to see Lu Ming make a fool of himself. At this moment, the elder of the treasure trove hall grabbed the second jade box and opened it. Immediately, another rich life essence filled the air. Another low-level elven tree seed. Many people were stunned. Luck, it must be luck. Many people told themselves. My luck is not bad. The elder of the treasure trove hall nodded in his heart. Then he grabbed the third jade box and opened it. It was another low-level elven tree seed. The third one. This time, many people were dumbfounded and didn't dare to judge. It's impossible, it must be luck. Ling Piao roared in her heart. Her expression slowly changed from one of schadenfreude to one of watching a good show to one of gloom. Chapter 39:28. The counting continued. The treasure vault elder picked up the fourth jade box. After opening it, it was still a low-level elven tree seed. Then it was the fifth, the sixth. Every jade box was not empty. They all contained a low-level elven tree seed. Gradually, the hall became completely silent. The expressions of Ling Piao and her sister became more and more gloomy and ugly. One or two could be said to be luck, but 5, 6, 7, there were even more. If every one of them contained an elven tree seed, then it was not luck. Moreover, looking at Lu Ming's calm expression, could it be that every jade box contained an elven tree seed? More than 200 elven tree seeds? How was this possible? However, whether it was possible or not, they would know as they continued watching. 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 150, soon, a total of 208 jade boxes were all accounted for. Each jade box contained a low-level sprite seed, and none of them were empty. Ling Piao's face was incomparably gloomy and ugly. This was a blatant slap to her face. With 208 low-level elven tree seeds, just the reward alone would be 2,080 elvenwood cores. And just now, she actually said that she would use 1,000 elvenwood cores to send Lu Ming away. Wasn't that ridiculous? Not bad, not bad. The elders of the treasure vault nodded repeatedly. They were in charge of managing the treasure vault, so they naturally hoped that there would be more treasures in the treasure vault. The more there were, the happier they would be. Although they were all low-level elven tree seeds, it was still very good to have an increase of 208 elven tree seeds. These 2,080 elvenwood cores are for you. The female elven elder from the treasure vault took out 2,080 elvenwood cores and handed them to Lu Ming. Lu Ming put them away happily. The other elven prodigies were extremely envious. There were not many who could obtain more than 2,000 elvenwood cores at the scene. Little guy, You can't have all low-level elven tree seeds, right? There should be some mid-level elven tree seeds, right? The elder of the treasure palace, who was in charge of checking, smiled at Lu Ming. The gazes of the others also converged on Lu Ming, revealing all kinds of complicated expressions. Yes, to be able to obtain 208 low-level elven tree seeds, how could there not be any mid-level elven tree seeds? At the very least, he would be able to obtain some intermediate sprite tree species. Of course. Lu Ming smiled. Then, with a thought, a large pile of jade boxes flew out from his storage ring. This time, the number of jade boxes was much less. There were only 66 of them. So many. 66. Could they all be mid-level sprite tree species? How is this possible? 66 intermediate elven tree seeds? Do you think intermediate elven tree seeds are cabbages? 66. I reckon that most of them are low-level elven tree species. He didn't take all of them just now. That's right, that's right. If there really are so many intermediate sprite tree seeds, I'll eat dirt in front of everyone. In fact, none of the elven lords present, including Ling Huashuo, Ling Huafeng, and the other elders believed it. 66 mid-grade sprite tree seeds? How was that possible? Previously, everyone's mid-level sprite tree seeds added together were not much more than this. Ling Piao and her sister stared fixedly at these jade boxes, praying in their hearts that there were not mid-level sprite tree seeds inside. Elder, let's begin, Lu Ming said to the elder. The elder's eyes couldn't help but reveal a look of anticipation. Although he didn't believe that there would be so many mid-level sprite tree seeds, he was still looking forward to it in his heart. His anticipation was real. He picked up a jade box and opened the lid. Immediately, an even richer life essence spread out. Mid-level sprite tree seed. Without needing to look, everyone knew that this was a mid-level sprite tree seed. It was really a mid-level sprite tree seed. Was it a coincidence, or? These 66 jade boxes were all mid-level sprite tree seeds. Many people couldn't help but stretch their necks and stare fixedly. In the main hall, there was no sound at all as they waited for the treasure vault elder to count. The treasure vault elder picked up the second jade box and opened it. It was still a mid-level sprite tree seed. Many people's breathing became heavy. Could it be that all 66 jade boxes contained mid-level sprite tree seeds? It couldn't be, right? The treasure vault elder continued to count, and his speed became faster and faster. 3, 4, 8, 10. After each jade box was opened, there were no exceptions. They were all mid-level sprite tree seeds. In the end, most people were flabbergasted and dumbfounded. As for Ling Piao and Ling Huafeng, their expressions were incomparably ugly. Only Ling Yue's expression remained calm. However, upon closer inspection, one could see that there were raging flames burning in the depths of Ling Yue's eyes. It was a look of anticipation. This is only the beginning. Just you wait and see. The shock is yet to come. Ling Piao, second uncle, royal father. Ling Yue roared in her heart. When she thought of the scene where Lu Ming took out the holy seed, she was so excited that her entire body trembled slightly. 66, all of them are mid-level sprite tree seeds. In the end, the treasure vault elder announced and let out a heavy breath. Heavens, they're really all mid-level sprite tree seeds. How did he do it? He's only at the quasi-emperor stage, but he actually obtained so many mid-level sprite tree seeds. How is this possible? How is this possible? The scene was in an uproar. They couldn't understand how Lu Ming did it, especially the young man who said that the 66 jade boxes were all mid-level sprite tree seeds. At this moment, he didn't dare to speak. His body slowly shrank back, as if he was afraid of being discovered. Could it be that the sprite tree seeds also have a nest? Like some mushrooms, they would be born in a certain place in large quantities and then coincidentally be encountered by Mu Yun? Someone came up with a novel idea. Mushrooms were like this. They would grow in large quantities in one place, forming a nest. Could it be that the sprite tree seeds were the same? But he had never heard of it before. The others also looked at each other in dismay. Damn it, how is this possible? The ones who were the most unhappy were Ling Huafeng and his father, especially Ling Piao. Her face was as gloomy as ice. Good, good, good. The few elders of the treasure palace praised him. That's right. This time, Ling Huashua also nodded and revealed a smile on his face. His impression of Lu Ming had also changed. After all, the mid-level sprite tree seeds were already very useful to the sprite race. They could affect the overall strength of the sprite race. He was naturally happy. Mu Yun, this is your reward. Because there are too many of them, it's not easy to take them out. You can count them yourself. The female elf elder from the treasure vault took out a storage ring and handed it to Lu Ming. The eyes of the others immediately lit up. Chapter 39-29. Most of the elven prodigy's eyes were burning with passion. 66 mid-level elven tree species, and the reward was 6,600 elven wood hearts. This was a terrifying amount of wealth. The elven prodigies were burning with passion. As for Ling Piao and the others, they were even more envious and jealous. They were the ones who recommended Lu Ming to participate in the Holy Seed assessment. Without their recommendation, Lu Ming, an outsider, would not have had the chance to participate in the Holy Seed assessment. They had originally recommended Lu Ming to participate in the Holy Seed assessment with the intention of getting rid of Lu Ming in the ancestral land. However, they never expected that Lu Ming would have such a huge harvest. Now, even if Lu Ming did not complete their mission and left the elven tribe, his harvest was still astonishing. He had obtained a total of more than 8,000 elven wood hearts. Even they were jealous because they could not take out so many elven wood hearts. And these were all given to Lu Ming by them. Indirectly, it was equivalent to giving them to Lu Ming. They were feeling extremely displeased and uncomfortable. Lu Ming took the storage ring and scanned it with his spiritual consciousness. There were indeed 6,600 elven wood hearts inside. Lu Ming happily put it away. Mu Yun, although your harvest is not small, your mission is to obtain 12 high-level elven tree species. If you do not complete the mission, please leave the elven tribe and have nothing to do with Yue Wei in the future. At this moment, Ling Piao spoke. 12 high-level elven tree species? How can this be completed? It was the first time that many of the young elven prodigies knew about Lu Ming's mission, and they immediately discussed it. It was simply impossible to obtain 12 high-level elven tree species. One had to know that this time, all the elven prodigies added up only obtained 4. It was impossible for Lu Ming to obtain 12 elven tree species. It was absolutely impossible for high-level elven tree species to form a nest because every high-level elven tree species needed to absorb a huge amount of life essence. It was almost impossible for several high-level elven tree species to appear in the same place. Even if Lu Ming really found the nests of low-level and mid-level elven tree species, it was impossible for him to obtain high-level elven tree species. It was impossible for him to obtain 12 high-level elven tree species. Lu Ming looked at Ling Piao, the corners of his lips curling into a cold smile. Seeing Lu Ming's sneer, for some reason, Ling Piao had a bad premonition in her heart. Could it be? No, impossible. Ling Piao shook her head. It was absolutely impossible to obtain 12 high-grade elven tree seeds. She absolutely did not believe it. Her heart slowly calmed down as she stared coldly at Lu Ming, waiting for the moment when Lu Ming would be chased out of the elf tribe. Little guy, do you have any more elven tree seeds? For example, high elf tree species? The elder in charge of the treasury hall looked at Lu Ming expectantly. Yes. Lu Ming nodded with a calm expression. There really is. The eyes of the elders of the treasure vault, Ling Huashua, and the other high-ranking elves lit up. High-grade elven tree species were the foundation of the elven race. It was very useful. Even if there was only one, it would be a great harvest. Previously, the other elves had only obtained 4 in total. Therefore, even if Lu Ming only had 1, it was already very good. There's really one? Ling Huafeng, Ling Piao, and the others narrowed their eyes. His mission is 12. Even if he can get 1 or 2, it's useless. At most, it'll give him a little more reward. Ling Piao and the others comforted themselves like this. Under everyone's attention and anticipation, Lu Ming took out a jade box. Moreover, there were 49 jade boxes. Looking at the 49 jade boxes floating in the air, everyone was stunned. What did this mean? When they asked him if he had any high-grade elven tree species, Lu Ming took out 49 jade boxes. Could it be that these 49 jade boxes were all high-grade elven tree species? Impossible, 1,000 and 10,000 impossible. At the scene, other than Ling Yue, no one believed it. This, little guy, are these all high-grade elven tree species in your jade boxes? The elder from the treasure repository palace asked in a probing manner. Yes. Lu Ming nodded. What? Everyone was dumbfounded, including Ling Huashua, the overlord of the universe. Inside the jade boxes were all high-grade elven tree species? There were 49 of them? They felt that their minds were completely muddled, and their thoughts were in a mess. Mu Yun, how dare you? You're courting death. At this moment, an angry shout was heard. It was Ling Piao. Ling Piao glared at Lu Ming, killing intent constantly appearing in her eyes, flickering with a sinister light. Lu Ming calmly waited for Ling Piao's next words. He knew that Ling Piao definitely had something to say. Sure enough, Ling Piao shouted again, "Our clan's elven emperor is here, and there are all the elders. But you, Mu Yun, are spouting nonsense and deceiving our clan's elven emperor. This is a capital crime." How did I deceive? Lu Ming said. You said that these 49 jade boxes of yours are all high-grade elven tree species, right? Ling Piao said. Lu Ming nodded. That's cheating, because it's impossible for you to have 49 high-grade elven tree species. This is completely impossible. You're playing with our clan's elven emperor. Ling Piao shouted coldly. She didn't believe that Lu Ming could get 49 high-grade elven tree species. The people of the elven race all knew how rare high-grade elven tree species were. The elven race didn't get many over the years. This time, the entire elven race only got 4 of them. But Lu Ming got 49. How was that possible? After hearing Ling Piao's words, many people also thought that Lu Ming was really deceiving them and was playing with them. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. He didn't want to slap others in the face, but they kept sending their faces to him. Take Ling Piao for example. Originally, even if Lu Ming wanted to slap her face, it wouldn't be too loud. However, Ling Piao's words just now were sending her face to Lu Ming. In this way, it would be loud when he slapped her face later. Lu Ming naturally had to fulfill Ling Piao's wish. In that case, there's no need to count them one by one. Open your eyes and watch. As soon as his voice fell, Lu Ming waved his hand, and the 49 jade boxes suspended in the air vibrated at the same time. Then, all 49 box lids flew up. Boom, boom, boom. As soon as the 49 lids were opened, the life essence in the jade boxes rushed out like a volcanic eruption. In the blink of an eye, the hall was filled with extremely rich life essence. The rich life essence gathered together as if it had turned into a substance, making everyone feel as if they were bathed in water. At this moment, the hall fell into a deathly silence. Everyone's eyes were wide open, and their eyes were full of disbelief. There was no ordinary person at the scene. With a slight sweep of their spiritual consciousness, they knew what level of elven tree species were in the 49 jade boxes. High-grade elven tree species, all of them were high-grade elven tree species. Chapter 3930. All of them were high-grade elf tree species. There was no doubt about it. 49 high-grade elf tree species were real. Ling Huashua, Ling Huafeng, and the higher-ups of the elf tribe, who had been sitting calmly in their seats, suddenly stood up from their seats. A powerful aura was emitted from their bodies. Their eyes were wide open as they stared at the 49 jade boxes in the air. Even with their temperament, it was difficult for them to suppress the excitement in their hearts. No, this is impossible. Ling Piao stared at the jade boxes. Her body was trembling non-stop, and her eyes were filled with disbelief. Shock, disbelief, disbelief. These emotions filled everyone's heart. Elder, Lu Ming called out a few times in a row. Only then did the elders of the treasure repository palace come to their senses. Elder, help me check if there's any problem. Lu Ming said. Okay. The elder of the treasure repository palace, who was in charge of checking, nodded repeatedly. Then he looked at them one by one. The more he looked, the more excited he became. In the end, his hands were trembling. 49 high-grade elf tree species. There's no difference. All of them are of excellent quality. The elder of the treasure repository palace said. Anyone could hear the slight tremor in his voice. Good. Ling Huashua said in a heavy tone. His eyes were shining. 49 high-grade elf tree species had a great impact on the elf tribe. One had to know that the elf tribe had been carefully cultivated for countless years. There were only slightly more than 100 mature high-grade elf tree species. 49 high-grade elf tree species. If half of them could be cultivated to maturity, it would be a big deal for the entire elf tribe. Excuse me, am I deceiving the elf king? At this time, Lu Ming looked at Ling Piao and asked indifferently. Ling Piao's face suddenly flushed red as if she had been slapped a few hundred times. You haven't seen the results yet, and you're already jumping out to say that others are deceiving you. This is a stupid behavior. How can someone like you be called a genius? Ha! Lu Ming said indifferently, full of sarcasm. Fury. Ling Piao was so angry that her whole body trembled. She stared at Lu Ming as if she wanted to skin Lu Ming alive. What did you say? Ling Piao squeezed out a sentence from her throat. Lu Ming actually said that she was stupid. She almost exploded. She wanted to rush over and tear Lu Ming apart. Hee. Lu Ming sneered a few times and didn't look at Ling Piao again. He completely disdained to pay attention to her. I'm going to kill you. Ling Piao completely exploded. She screamed and was about to pounce on Lu Ming. Ling Huashua frowned. This Ling Piao was too much. Ling Huafeng saw Ling Huashua's dissatisfaction and shouted, Piao, enough. A powerful aura spread out and pressed down on Ling Piao, causing her to be unable to move. At the same time, a voice rang out beside Ling Piao's ears. It was like thunder, and it finally shook Ling Piao awake. Ling Piao let out a long breath, but her eyes were still staring coldly at Lu Ming. May I ask, Your Majesty, is this considered as completing the mission? Lu Ming asked. Of course, you did well. Ling Huashua's face finally revealed a smile. He had obtained 49 high-grade elf tree seeds, which was far more than the 12 high-grade elf tree seeds. Of course, he had completed the mission. Moreover, he had completed it perfectly. Although he didn't know how Lu Ming did it, the facts proved that Lu Ming wasn't only talented, but also had great luck. It wasn't impossible for him to be his son-in-law. In fact, he was already very satisfied with Lu Ming. Elder, give out the reward. Ling Huashua looked at the elder of the treasure repository palace. Your Majesty, the female elder of the treasure repository palace hesitated for a moment and said, We didn't bring enough elf tree hearts to pay for the reward. The few elders of the treasure repository palace also blushed. They didn't expect to obtain so many high-grade elf tree seeds this time, so they didn't bring that many elf tree hearts. After the previous reward, they didn't have enough elf tree hearts in their hands. 49 high-grade elf tree seeds, the reward was as high as 49,000 elf tree hearts. How much more do you need? I'll pay for it first. Ling Huashua said. We still need 30,000 elf tree hearts. The female elder of the treasure repository palace said. Ling Huashua nodded and then waved his hand. A large pile of elf tree hearts flew out and flew towards the female elder of the treasure repository palace. The female elder of the treasure repository palace kept the elf tree hearts in a storage ring and then handed it to Lu Ming. Mu Yun, this is your reward. You can count it. The female elder of the treasure repository palace said. Lu Ming took the storage ring and scanned it with his spiritual sense. There were exactly 49,000 elf tree hearts inside. Lu Ming's face was full of smiles as he retracted it. Ling Piao and the others were so envious that their eyes were bloodshot, and their hearts were filled with regret. They were truly regretful. The reason why Lu Ming was able to obtain so many rewards was entirely because of their recommendation. Furthermore, Lu Ming had completed the mission they had set up. They no longer had any reason to stop Lu Ming and Ling Yue from being together. The other elf race geniuses present were all incomparably envious. 49,000 elf tree hearts, what kind of wealth was that? It was simply unimaginable. Not to mention the people of the younger generation, Even some of the elders were very envious. Alright, this time's holy seed assessment can be considered to have ended successfully. All of you have worked hard. Go back and rest, Ling Huashua said as he announced the end of the holy seed assessment. Your Majesty, I haven't finished counting my elf tree seeds? At this moment, Lu Ming stood up and said. There was a sudden silence in the main hall. All eyes were on Lu Ming, full of surprise. Lu Ming still had elf tree seeds that he hadn't finished counting? What did he mean? He had already taken out so many elf tree seeds before, and there were still elf tree seeds that he hadn't taken out yet? Why didn't he take them out at once before? Mu Yun, are you playing with us? Why didn't you take them out at once when you were counting them before? What do you mean by taking them out now? Is it fun? Do you think everyone has the time to play with you here? Ling Piao shouted again. She really couldn't help it. Seeing Lu Ming's harvest being so great and slapping her in the face, her mentality was about to explode. Now that she saw that there was a loophole to take advantage of and a chance to suppress Lu Ming, she spoke without hesitation, as if it was an instinct. You're sending your face to be slapped again. You're really cooperative. Lu Ming sighed in his heart again. I didn't take it out before because the elf tree seeds I counted before were all of a lower level, so it wasn't easy to mix them together. Can't you figure out such a simple logic? Lu Ming looked at Ling Piao in disdain. Chapter 39-31. Lower level? You took out a high-level elven tree seed earlier, and its level is still relatively low. Therefore, Ling Piao shouted again, lower level? You said that the high-level elven tree seed from before was still relatively low level? Could it be that you obtained a holy tree seed? Hee hee, what a joke. Ling Piao's ridicule caused everyone's hearts to tremble violently. Holy tree seed? If it was an ordinary person, they would definitely not believe it. However, Lu Ming had taken out 49 high-level elven tree seeds previously. This in itself was an inconceivable matter. If it was said that Lu Ming had obtained a holy tree seed, it was not impossible. Ling Piao also thought of this point and immediately shut her mouth. Her eyes were wide open as she stared at Lu Ming. She prayed crazily in her heart. This was fake, this couldn't be true. Unfortunately, she was disappointed. Lu Ming looked at Ling Piao very seriously and pretended to be surprised. This time, you're not so stupid. Such a difficult question has been guessed. There's a reward, a reward. I'll reward you with half a elvenwood heart. Do you want it? It really was? Everyone's hearts began to thump like drums. Even a universe overlord like Ling Huashua was no exception. His breathing became heavy. Mu Yunyu. Is what you said true? Did you really get the holy tree seed? Ling Huashua asked with a trembling voice. This was inconceivable for someone of his status. With his cultivation and status, there was nothing that could make him so excited. However, the holy tree seed was one of them. Father, it's absolutely true. Mu Yun has indeed obtained the holy tree seed. Ling Yue said. Rumble. Everyone's hearts beat even more violently as they looked at Lu Ming eagerly. It was one thing to say it, but without seeing it with their own eyes, they still found it hard to believe. How many years had it been since the elves had obtained a holy tree seed? In any case, they couldn't count it. No, it can't be, it can't be. Ling Piao's lips trembled as she prayed crazily in her heart. All of this wasn't true, it was fake. Her eyes were red as she stared at Lu Ming, hoping that Lu Ming would say that everything before was a joke. Unfortunately, it was destined that things would not go as he wished. A jade box appeared in Lu Ming's hand. This jade box was covered by a battle talisman, and there was a layer of light that enveloped the jade box. Senior Elf Emperor, how about I let you open this jade box? Lu Ming said to the Elven Emperor. Alright. Ling Huashua quickly nodded. Lu Ming waved his hand, and the jade box flew toward the Elf Emperor. At this moment, Ling Piao really wanted to rush out and intercept the jade box. She wanted to put away the jade box and prevent the contents of the jade box from being revealed. However, she was only thinking about it. She did not dare to do so. If she really did that, even if she had a noble status, she would still die. The seed of the holy tree was more important to the elf tribe than anything else. It was even more important than the elf emperor. Ling Huashua held the jade box in his hand. Then, he took a deep breath and a wave of power spread out to break the talisman array on the jade box. Even with Ling Huashua's temperament, he couldn't help but feel nervous when the door was about to open. The eyes of the other elves were also fixed on the jade box. Of course, most of them were looking forward to it. They were looking forward to the seed of the holy tree. Only Ling Huafeng and Ling Piao were exceptions. They were looking forward to it being fake, empty, or just an ordinary elven tree seed. Finally, Ling Huashua opened the lid of the jade box. Everyone's hearts beat violently a few times with the sound of the lid opening. Boom! In the next moment, a life essence that was thousands of times more violent than a volcanic eruption surged out of the jade box. Then, a ray of light rushed out of the jade box. This ray of light was the holy tree seed. As soon as it rushed out, it wanted to fly away. However, how could it fly away in Ling Huashua's hands? With a thought from Ling Huashua, an invisible force locked onto the surroundings. No matter how hard the seed of the holy tree tried, it couldn't fly away. At this moment, everyone's eyes were fixed on the seed of the holy tree, including Ling Yue. Although Ling Yue knew that Lu Ming had obtained the seed of the holy tree, she had never seen it before. Now that she had seen it for the first time, she was naturally very surprised. It has spirituality and its life essence is soaring. It's the seed of the holy tree, it's really the seed of the holy tree. Ling Huashua muttered to himself, but his voice was trembling. It was obvious that he was extremely excited. In the next moment, the entire hall was in an uproar. Heavens, it's really the seed of the holy tree, it's really the seed of the holy tree. The ancestors have blessed us. After so many years, our elf clan has finally welcomed a new seed of the holy tree. Soon, the new holy tree will take root and sprout on our mother planet. Our elf clan is finally going to usher in glory again. Some of the elders of the elf clan were so excited that they couldn't control themselves. They were so excited that tears flowed down their faces. The seed of the holy tree was too important to the elf clan. It could determine the rise and fall of the elf clan. At this moment, Ling Piao and the others were completely stunned. Their eyes were filled with unwillingness, anger, and jealousy. Ha! Ling Huashua laughed out loud in high spirits. Good. Mu Yun, you've done a great service this time. Ling Huashua laughed. Now, no matter how he looked at it, Lu Ming was pleasing to the eye. No matter how he looked at it, he felt that Lu Ming was destined to be his son-in-law. Mu Yun was just lucky. Lu Ming said humbly. Seed of the Holy Mother Tree. Yes, the seed of the Holy Mother Tree. Where is the seed of the Holy Mother Tree? Bring me there quickly. At this moment, Ling Piao cried out again. The flames of greed in her eyes were about to turn into something substantial. The other sky prides of the elf clan were shocked. Yes, the seed of the Holy Mother Tree. The seed of the Holy Mother Tree that nurtured the seed of the Holy Tree was a great opportunity for the elf clan. It was especially great for the sky prides of the elf clan. Once they obtained it, they would be reborn and their talents would soar. It was no wonder that Ling Piao was so excited. If she could integrate the opportunity of the seed of the Holy Mother Tree, her talents would definitely rise to the top of the elf clan. Bring you there? You're thinking too much. Lu Ming looked at Ling Piao and said disdainfully, I have already obtained the opportunity of the Holy Seed Mother Tree. Immediately after, Ling Yue spoke up. The other elf clan geniuses all sighed. As for Ling Piao, her gaze was filled with raging flames of jealousy as she looked at Ling Yue. Damn it, why? Why is it that she fused with the opportunity of the Holy Seed Mother Tree? Why isn't it me? Ling Piao roared in her heart, wishing that she could cut Lu Ming and Ling Yue into 1,000 pieces. She was filled with jealousy towards Ling Yue. From the moment she was born, Ling Yue was the orthodox princess, but she wasn't. In terms of talent, she couldn't compare to Ling Yue. And now, this supreme opportunity had been obtained by Ling Yue, making her even more jealous. Chapter 39-32. Ling Piao's eyes were filled with crazy jealousy. Damned Mu Yun, damned. Ling Piao kept roaring in her heart. At this moment, she hated Lu Ming to the bones. At the same time, he was also incomparably regretful. It could be said that all of this was because she had helped Lu Ming and Ling Yue. If it wasn't for them recommending Lu Ming to participate in the Holy Seed examination, how could Lu Ming have obtained the Holy Tree Seed? How could Ling Yue have obtained the opportunity of the Holy Seed Mother Tree? If she hadn't forcefully restrained herself, she would have already spat out a mouthful of blood from anger. On the side, Ling Huafeng's expression was also very gloomy. However, he was more scheming and didn't show it. Yue, did you really obtain the opportunity of the Holy Seed Mother Tree? Ling Huashua was extremely excited. Yes, Royal Father. Ling Yue nodded affirmatively, and then her body emitted an aura. The moment this aura appeared, the expressions of many people present changed greatly. This was because this aura brought about a powerful pressure to them. It was as if a low-level race was facing a high-level race. Even Ling Huashua, Ling Huafeng, and the elders of the elf clan felt a powerful pressure. This kind of pressure had nothing to do with cultivation. It was only the pressure of the source of life. What a powerful pressure, what a strong elf bloodline. This old man has never seen such a dense elf bloodline in his life. An elder of the elf clan sighed. Indeed, the pressure of the elf bloodline that Ling Yue was emitting had exceeded their understanding. The other geniuses of the elf clan were all envious. Ling Yue's talent was already very high. In the elf clan, she was definitely one of the best. Now that she had obtained the opportunity of the Holy Seed Mother Tree, who knew how high her talent was now? One thing was certain, and that was that no one in the elf clan could compare to Ling Yue. Ling Piao was so jealous that she wanted to go crazy. The flames of jealousy seemed to want to burn her entire body. Good, good, good. Ling Huashua kept saying good because he was too excited. After a long while, Ling Huashua finally calmed down. Mu Yun, this time, you have done a great service to our elf clan. Speak, what reward do you want? Ling Huashua said. Reward? Lu Ming's mind began to race. Elven tree heart? Of course, the more the better. Ordinary secret techniques? 3,000 ancient secret techniques? He wanted it very much, but then he shook his head in his heart. Why would ordinary cultivators need so many ordinary secret techniques? It seemed abnormal. Most people wouldn't think much of it. They wouldn't think of the forbidden body. However, the people present were all top bosses of the elf race. They were all knowledgeable, especially Ling Huashua. He probably knew about the taboo physique. If he asked for a lot of ordinary secret techniques, it was hard to guarantee that these people wouldn't associate it with the taboo physique. That would be troublesome. Other than the elven wood heart and the secret technique, what else did he need? How about this? I'll tell you a few. What do you think? When he saw Lu Ming hesitating, Ling Huashua said, First, I'll give you 100,000 elven tree hearts. However, I'm afraid there aren't that many left in the treasury vault. I'll give you more in the future. How about it? Of course, Lu Ming's heart was also beating wildly. What kind of concept was 100,000 elven wood cores? The others were all envious and jealous. However, compared to the Holy Tree Seed, 100,000 elven wood cores were really nothing. Second, this Holy Tree token is for you. As soon as Ling Huashua's voice fell, a token appeared in his hand. The token flew to Lu Ming and was caught by Lu Ming. The token seemed to be carved out of a kind of wood. There was a big tree carved on it. It was the elf race's holy tree. Lu Ming revealed a puzzled look. He didn't know what this token was used for. With this token, you can enter and leave all the elf race's cultivation's sacred grounds freely. You can cultivate for free. Ling Huashua explained. Lu Ming was moved. He could cultivate in all the elf race's cultivation's sacred grounds. The elf race was a top race in the universe. Their cultivation's sacred grounds were definitely extraordinary. This was also a huge temptation. Thank you, Senior. Lu Ming cupped his fists and thanked him. Third, I'll agree to one condition. As long as it's not too much, I'll help you fulfill it. How about it? Ling Huashua continued. Everyone revealed expressions of envy, jealousy, and hatred. This third condition was 1,000 times more precious than the previous two. Who was Ling Huashua? He was the emperor of the elf race, an overlord of the universe. His condition was simply too precious. Lu Ming was also ecstatic. He cupped his fists again and said, "Thank you, Senior." "Mu Yun, even now you're still calling me Senior?" Ling Huashua smiled. What? Lu Ming was stunned. What did this mean? But when he saw Ling Yue's flushed face, he immediately understood. Then, Lu Ming was a little confused. This, Lu Ming stammered. For a moment, he did not know how to respond. Young people are still shy. You and Yue are already engaged. You're not young anymore. I've decided to choose a day to marry you. Ling Huashua said. Lu Ming had completely proven himself by obtaining the Holy Tree Seed. Moreover, the Holy Tree Seed was too useful to the elf race, much more useful than the angel race's full help. Moreover, even if they were to marry into the angel race would at most give the elf race a little help. It was impossible for them to help too much. How could it be better than obtaining the Holy Tree Seed? Therefore, Ling Huashua immediately decided to marry Ling Yue and Lu Ming, so as to cut off the idea of the angel race. The other youths of the elf race were envious and jealous, but most of them sighed. Lu Ming had made such a great contribution, and he was also engaged to Ling Yue. They simply couldn't compete with Lu Ming. "Senior, wait a moment. At this moment, Lu Ming finally reacted and hurriedly shouted. "What do you want to say?" Ling Huashua looked at Lu Ming. He was somewhat dissatisfied that Lu Ming still called him senior. "Right now, I can't marry Princess Yue," Lu Ming said. "What?" The elves looked at Lu Ming as if he was a fool. Lu Ming actually refused to marry Ling Yue? If this wasn't a fool, then what was? Ling Yue's beauty was needless to say, there was no second in the elf race. Ling Yue's talent, after obtaining the opportunity of the Holy Seed Mother Tree, had reached an unimaginable level. Lu Ming actually rejected such a proud daughter of heaven? As long as he took Ling Yue, Lu Ming would immediately be able to rise to the top and become the prince consort of the elf race. Lu Ming actually refused? Many people couldn't figure it out, and neither could Ling Huashua. But Ling Huashua asked without frowning. "Senior, because this junior cultivates a special cultivation technique, I must maintain my virgin body in order to maintain my peak condition. Once I lose my virginity, my talent will greatly decrease, and it will be very detrimental to my future cultivation." Lu Ming began to spout nonsense. Chapter 39-33. Lu Ming's words caused the elves present to look at each other in dismay. They couldn't tell if what Lu Ming said was true or false. In the universe, there were countless mysterious cultivation techniques and divine arts. Some of them did have all sorts of strange requirements. They had heard of many of these kinds of things that required one to maintain a virgin body. Ling Huashua frowned. He wasn't that easy to fool. He expressed his doubts in his heart, but he said, "Then what realm do you need to cultivate to before you can get married?" "This, I have to be at least above the divine emperor realm." Lu Ming said. "All right, then we'll wait until you reach the divine emperor realm before we get married," Ling Huashua said. He could tell that Lu Ming didn't seem to want to get married right now, so he didn't investigate whether what Lu Ming said was true or false. Many of the elven geniuses secretly heaved a sigh of relief. As long as Ling Yue hadn't married Lu Ming, they still had a chance. As for Ling Yue, she glanced at Lu Ming with hidden bitterness. Lu Ming pretended not to see it. This time, obtaining the seed of the holy tree is a huge matter. A year later, it will be the time for the ancestral worship ceremony. By then, most of the elves will return. I plan to hold a sacred worship ceremony, then to celebrate the elves obtaining the seed of the holy tree. At the same time, I want to introduce to the elves that Mu Yun is the benefactor who helped the elves obtain the seed of the holy tree. As for the details, we can start preparing when we return," Ling Huashua announced. "Yes." Everyone nodded and dispersed one by one. Not long after, Lu Ming also took his leave. It seemed that he would have to stay in the elf clan for another year. However, a year's time passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming didn't mind. It just so happened that he could cultivate in the holy land of the elves. "Do you elves have any high-intensity cultivation holy lands?" The kind where you can fight fiercely and force yourself into a desperate situation? After leaving the hall, Lu Ming asked Ling Yue. Now that he had sufficient resources, it was time to attack the Divine Emperor realm. If he wanted to break through quickly, he had to force himself to continuously stimulate the potential in his body. This kind of battle required a life and death battle. However, without going out to adventure and train, how could there be so many life and death battles? They could only find more dangerous places to cultivate. Of course, there are such places for cultivation. My elf tribe has a death canyon. There are many terrifying dead spirits in there. Elves often go there to train, but it's very dangerous. Many of my elf tribe's geniuses have fallen there. Do you really want to go there? Ling Yue said. Of course, the more dangerous, the better. Lu Ming smiled faintly. All right, then I'll take you there, Ling Yue said. The entrance to the Death Canyon was in the Elven Palace. Soon they arrived. Ling Yue did not go in to cultivate. She had just fused with the essence of the sacred seed mother tree and needed to meditate in seclusion. During this period of time, her cultivation would advance by leaps and bounds. Lu Ming entered the canyon alone. Lu Ming had the holy tree token, so he was naturally unimpeded. The moment Lu Ming stepped into Death Canyon, he felt a chilling aura. However, Lu Ming circulated his taboo power and easily blocked the invasion of the chilling aura. Lu Ming looked around. Although it was called a canyon, it was actually very vast. It was difficult to see the end of it at a glance. A tyrannical roar rang out. Following that, a tall figure pounced towards Lu Ming, bringing with it a terrifying gust of wind. A zombie! Lu Ming's gaze moved. The one pouncing towards him was a zombie. Its face was ferocious, and its cultivation was roughly at the Quasi-Emperor stage. The Quasi-Emperor stage was simply too weak. Lu Ming casually waved his palm and directly shattered the zombie into pieces. Lu Ming stepped forward and continued to go deeper into the Death Canyon. Then, zombies continuously appeared and attacked Lu Ming. However, these zombies were too weak and did not have much of a tempering effect on Lu Ming. Lu Ming easily killed his way out and continued to go deeper into the Death Canyon. Not long after, Lu Ming's path was blocked by a light screen. Lu Ming knew that after stepping through this light screen, he would reach the second level. That kind of light screen could separate the zombies. The strong cultivators of the elf clan had set up that kind of light screen on purpose. Their goal was to separate the zombies of different cultivation levels so that the young geniuses of the elf clan could practice. Lu Ming stepped out, passed through the light curtain, and entered the next level. There were still many zombies on the next level, but they were much stronger than before. All of them had the strength of the first godly emperor layer. However, Lu Ming wasn't interested. After a short time, he saw another light screen. After passing through that light screen, he went to the next level. On this level, the zombies had the strength of the second godly emperor layer. Lu Ming didn't stop, he continued to the next level. After passing through a few levels, Lu Ming finally felt the pressure. Because the zombies on this level were all at the fourth godly emperor layer. Ordinary cultivators of the fourth godly emperor layer were extremely strong. These zombies were like godly weapons, they didn't fear death. They were much stronger than ordinary cultivators of the fourth godly emperor layer. And there were many of them. Roar, roar. A large group of zombies of the fourth godly emperor layer threw themselves at Lu Ming. Their terrifying chi made Lu Ming tremble. Come, that! Shouted Lu Ming furiously. His battle formula had increased his fighting strength by 6 times. At the same time, he also used all sorts of ordinary secret skills and 2 of the 3,000 ancient secret skills. Apart from a few deadly weapons, Lu Ming also used his full strength. Boom, boom, boom. The 2 sides collided and started fighting intensely. Lu Ming knocked away a few zombies, but he was also hit by a few zombies. His body shook violently and he was pushed back. Roar, roar. The few zombies immediately threw themselves at Lu Ming. Their sharp claws were like heavenly blades. They slashed at Lu Ming. How strong! Lu Ming's fighting spirit was high. He continued to attack the few zombies. The 2 sides started fighting intensely. After all, Lu Ming was only a quasi-emperor. There was a huge gap between him and a cultivator of the fourth godly emperor layer. Lu Ming could deal with an ordinary cultivator of the fourth godly emperor layer, but against so many zombies of the fourth godly emperor layer who didn't fear death, it was very difficult. Not only was it difficult, but it was also very dangerous. If he wasn't careful, the zombies could tear him to pieces. But Lu Ming wanted that kind of danger, that kind of pressure. In the intense battle, Lu Ming consecutively sent a few zombies flying. Numerous wounds appeared on the bodies of the zombies, and they almost shattered. But Lu Ming was in an even worse situation. He was blown away. 6 hideous wounds appeared on his body. He had almost been torn apart. The potential in each of his cells was constantly being stimulated, repairing his wounds. His wounds were recovering rapidly. But at that moment, 3 more zombies threw themselves at Lu Ming and tried to grab his head. Chapter 39-34. Lu Ming's body was almost torn apart. At that moment, 3 more zombies threw themselves at Lu Ming. They wanted to tear Lu Ming to pieces. All of a sudden, Lu Ming was in danger. However, in the face of such a crisis and pressure, Lu Ming was even more excited. He could feel that his cells were trembling and the energy in his cells was gushing out continuously. Die! Lu Ming let out a long roar. He was fearless. His entire body glowed. Hundreds of ordinary secret skills and 2 ancient secret skills were fully unleashed as he fought with the zombie. After a few fights, Lu Ming's injuries became even more serious. His clothes were torn and tattered. Once, his body was cut in 2 and barely connected. It's about time, thought Lu Ming. This wave of zombies was already strong enough. If he continued fighting, it would only bring more harm than good. Swish! Lu Ming quickly retreated. The zombies chased after him. However, Lu Ming quickly retreated to a layer of light. His silhouette flickered and he moved back to the first layer. The zombies of the fourth godly emperor layer were all blocked by the layer of light. The zombies in front of him were at the 3rd layer of the godly emperor realm. When they saw Lu Ming, they charged at him. However, the 3rd layer of the godly emperor realm was much weaker than the 4th layer of the godly emperor realm. Lu Ming could deal with them easily. He retreated as he fought. In the end, he retreated to the outskirts of the Death Valley and sat down cross-legged to recover. His cells were filled with energy. Lu Ming's injuries were healing at an incredible speed. In just 10 minutes, his injuries were healed and he was in peak condition. I'm one step closer to the godly emperor layer. But I've also used up most of my potential. I need to continue absorbing the spiritual wood heart. Lu Ming took out the spiritual wood heart and started absorbing it. When his cells were full, Lu Ming went back to Death Valley and fought against the zombies of the 4th godly emperor layer. Just like that, Lu Ming started practicing cultivation in Death Valley. He wanted to break through to the 4th godly emperor layer as quickly as possible. In Ling Huafeng's mansion, Ling Piao's furious shriek rang out. In a large hall, Ling Huafeng, his daughter, and his son were gathered together. However, their expressions were extremely ugly. Damn it, Mu Yun, damn it Ling Yue. Ling Piao's face was incomparably sinister, like a crazy shrew. She wanted nothing more than to rush in front of Mu Yun and Ling Yue and tear them apart. She hated it. This time, not only had she been slapped in the face in front of so many elites and geniuses of the elf tribe, but she had also been slapped in the face because of jealousy. Jealous of Lu Ming's gains, jealous of Ling Yue's opportunities. Although her cultivation was higher than Ling Yue's, that was because she was much older than Ling Yue. However, with Ling Yue's current talent, she would soon catch up to her and ruthlessly trample on her. She would never have the strength to turn around. And the root cause of all this was herself. She was the one who recommended Lu Ming to participate in the Holy Seed examination. This was equivalent to her personally delivering so many opportunities to Lu Ming and Ling Yue. When she thought of this, her regret, her anger, was about to explode. Most importantly, this way it would be equivalent to pushing Lu Ming and Ling Yue together. If that was the case, wouldn't Ling Yue be unable to marry that peerless genius of the Angel Clan? If she wanted to borrow the power of the Angel Clan, wouldn't her dream of rising to the top be completely ruined? No, absolutely not. She would not allow such a thing to happen. Father, are we just going to watch Ling Yuwei and Mu Yun be together? If that's the case, not only will we not be able to befriend the experts of the Angel Clan, we will also become enemies and offend them. Ling Piao looked at Ling Huafeng and said. At this time, she was already in a mess and could only rely on Ling Huafeng. There's no rush. How could it be that easy for Mu Yun to walk together with Ling Yuwei? Ling Huafeng sneered. Father, what do you plan to do? Ling Piao's eyes lit up. Very simple, borrow a knife to kill someone. Ling Huafeng had a scheming expression as he said, send a message to Gabbert, saying that Ling Yuwei and Mu Yun will be married at the Elven Sacred Worship Ceremony in a year's time. Hearing this, Ling Piao immediately revealed a smile. Wonderful, when Gabbert hears this news he will definitely not let Mu Yun off. At that time, Mu Yun will be dead for sure. The more Ling Piao spoke, the more excited she became, as if she could already see the scene of Lu Ming being killed. Gabbert was the genius of the Angel Clan who was about to marry Ling Yuwei. He was a terrifying genius whose name shook the great desolate universe, and was unimaginably powerful. This was because this person was in existence on the universe's genius list. This person's talent and identity were completely worthy of Ling Yuwei. However, this person was a famous playboy, and there were at least 8,000 women who had harmed him. Ling Yuwei was proud and arrogant, so how could she marry this person? As long as he passed the news to Gabbert, Lu Ming would be dead for sure. Father, I'll do it right away. Ling Piao said, reinvigorated. Time flew by. 1 month, 3 months, half a year. Soon, a year had passed. Outside the Death Canyon, Lu Ming sat cross-legged and sighed. I still haven't broken through. It seems that I still need an opportunity to break through to the Divine Emperor realm. Lu Ming pondered. After a year of life and death battles, he had constantly stimulated his potential. His cultivation had improved a lot. Now, his cultivation was infinitely close to the Divine Emperor realm. He felt that he was just a little bit away from reaching it. If an ordinary person wanted to complete this accumulation, it would take hundreds of millions of years. As for him, he had completed this accumulation in just a short year. Of course, the consumption was also extremely shocking. In this year, Lu Ming had refined a total of 1,200 elven wood cores. If it was an ordinary person, they wouldn't be able to afford it. However, Lu Ming was rich now. He had 50,000 to 60,000 elven wood cores, and the elven tribe would give him another 100,000 elven wood cores. He could still afford to consume 1,200 elven wood cores. It seems that the opportunity to break through can't be obtained by fighting in the Death Canyon. Lu Ming thought. Because in the Death Canyon, Lu Ming would not really face a life and death crisis. Although it seemed dangerous, it was actually all under his control. For example, he still had the Zephyr Bead and the mysterious Ice Rod, which he hadn't used yet. With this kind of confidence, he wouldn't be in a life or death situation. Therefore, it would be difficult for him to break through the Divine Emperor realm. There's still half a month before the Elven tribe's sacred worshipping ceremony. After the sacred worshipping ceremony, I'll leave the Elven tribe and find an opportunity to break through to the Divine Emperor realm. Lu Ming planned in his heart. Then, Lu Ming got up and left the Death Canyon. However, as soon as he left the Death Canyon, Lu Ming's eyes moved. Because he sensed that someone had sent him a message from the illusory heavenly jade. Chapter 39-35. Lu Ming's mind sank into the dreamy divine jade. He immediately saw who had sent him the message. It was the sect leader of the Fengdu Sword Sect, Sect Leader Wang. Seeing the news that Sect Leader Wang had sent him, Lu Ming's eyes shone brightly. The Heavenly Palace is finally going to recruit heavenly soldiers. A voice filled with anticipation came out of Lu Ming's mouth. The news that Sect Leader Wang had sent him was that the Heavenly Palace was about to start recruiting heavenly soldiers. The 4 Heavenly Palace had already sent out news to the desolate universe that they would begin recruiting heavenly soldiers a year later, on the day of Extreme Een. Why was it the 4 Heavenly Palace and not the 5 Heavenly Palace? It was because the 5th Heavenly Palace had never recruited heavenly soldiers from the outside, so it was naturally not within its scope. A year later, it's still not too late. Lu Ming secretly heaved a sigh of relief. The news was sent more than 2 months ago. According to the time, there was still about 10 months left. It wouldn't be too late to rush back to the Fengdu sword sect after participating in the elven sacred worship ceremony. Lu Ming returned to the elves' residence. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. The location of the elven sacred worship ceremony was still on the stump of the holy tree. On this day, there was a sea of people on the stump of the holy tree. Countless elves had gathered there. The sacred worship ceremony was a major event for the elves. Most of the elves who were qualified to participate would participate. Unless they had an important mission or were at the critical moment of a breakthrough, they would not participate. I heard that His Majesty has something important to announce during this sacred worship ceremony. Yes, I heard about it too, but I've asked around, but I haven't heard anything about it. In short, I know that this matter seems to be extremely important to us elves. Many experts who were on missions outside have been summoned back. We don't have to think too much about it. We'll know soon anyway. At the scene, many people were discussing. His Majesty has arrived. A loud shout spread throughout the entire world. Everyone's eyes looked in one direction. In that direction, a group of people stepped on the air. They were the elf emperor Ling Huashua, Ling Yue, Ling Huafeng and the others. Lu Ming also followed beside Ling Yue. Greetings, Your Majesty. All of the elves bowed to Ling Huashua. Ling Huashua nodded and waved his hand, indicating for everyone to rise. Everyone stood up, and many people's gazes fell on Lu Ming. Who is that? You're not an elf, but you can stand beside His Majesty and the princess? Someone asked in surprise. Not everyone paid attention to the illusory heavenly jade and knew the name Mu Yun. Many people did not pay attention to outside matters and had never heard of Lu Ming's name. That's Mu Yun, the princess's fiancé. You don't know him? What? The princess's fiancé? Many people were shocked and looked at Lu Ming with even more curiosity. It was as if they wanted to see through Lu Ming and see what kind of person was worthy of one of the 20 pearls of the universe, Ling Yue. Of course, most of them were skeptical, especially after knowing that Lu Ming came from an ordinary universe-level power in the Iron Sea star field. They were even more skeptical and felt that Lu Ming was not worthy of Ling Yue at all. Facing the gazes of the crowd, Lu Ming's expression did not change. He stood there calmly as if he had nothing to do with it. He really wanted to stay out of it. He was looking forward to ending the sacred worship ceremony as soon as possible and returning to the Fengdu sword sect to prepare for the recruitment of heavenly soldiers for the heavenly palace. I believe you are all very curious as to why this is called the sacred worship ceremony, right? Ling Huashua said. Many people revealed curious expressions. In the past, it should have been called the ancestral worship ceremony. Only when the holy tree was still around would it be called the sacred worship ceremony. However, the elven sacred tree had long been cut off and destroyed. Why was it called the sacred worship ceremony this time? Many of the elves were puzzled. That's because my clan has obtained another seed of the holy tree. Ling Huashua's impassioned voice spread in all directions. The scene suddenly fell into silence. At the scene, there were at least 1 million elves. They were all middle and upper echelons of the elves. At this moment, all of them had their eyes wide open as they stared at Ling Huashua, unable to utter a single word. Slowly, the sound of heavy breathing could be heard from the scene. Then, like a volcano erupting, all of his emotions exploded out at once. Holy tree seed, oh my God, did I hear wrongly? My clan actually obtained another holy tree seed? Is there something wrong with my ears? I just heard His Majesty say that he obtained the holy tree seed? I heard it too. Oh my God, is that true? The scene was in an uproar. All of the elves roared in disbelief. You didn't hear wrongly. My clan has obtained the holy tree seed. Ling Huashua added. This time, almost all of the elves were excited. Some of them even jumped up. The elves actually obtained the holy tree seed again. This was a joyous occasion. With the holy tree seed, it meant that the elves were about to rise again. In the future, it would not be impossible for them to return to their previous peak. This was beneficial to all of the elves. Of course, the word almost was used because there were still people who were unhappy. Naturally, it was Ling Piao and a few others. The holy tree Zongzi is really the holy tree seed. How did my clan obtain the holy tree seed? It has been many years since the holy tree seed appeared in my clan. This time, we actually obtained the holy tree seed. Who exactly obtained it? He is the hero of our clan. Many of them shouted excitedly. Quiet down. Ling Huashua waved his hand and the scene immediately quieted down. When the holy worshipping ceremony is held this time, we will also announce the person who obtained the holy tree seed. Ling Huashua said. Many of them were looking forward to it. A year ago, my clan conducted the holy seed assessment. I believe everyone knows about it. Ling Huashua said. Holy seed assessment? Could it be that the holy tree seed was obtained during the holy seed assessment? However, no one from my clan has entered the 8th level of the ancestral land for countless years. How could they have obtained the holy tree seed? Could it be that a peerless prodigy has been born in my clan this time and has entered the 8th level or even higher? Based on what His Majesty said, it must be related to the holy seed assessment this time. That must be it. Ling Huashua's words caused many people to discuss and speculate. You guessed it right. The seed of the holy tree was brought out from the ancestral land during the holy seed assessment. Ling Huashua said and confirmed everyone's guess. It was really obtained during the holy seed assessment. Which prodigy is it? Who is it? Is it Hua Wuji or Ling Tianfei? Or Princess? Everyone kept guessing who had obtained the holy tree seed. They guessed the strongest prodigies of the elves but felt that it was unlikely. Could those prodigies really do it? From the beginning to the end, no one thought of Lu Ming. An outsider could obtain the holy tree seed? They did not believe it at all. Bookhouse Reading Website. Chapter 39-36. Many elves were guessing, but none of them could guess the reason. In the end, they cast their gazes on Ling Huashua, hoping to get an answer from him. Ling Huashua nodded and was about to say Lu Ming's name. At this moment, a few streaks of light flew over and landed in front of Ling Huashua. Your Majesty, the people from the angel race are here. One of the burly men reported. People from the angel race? Why are they here at this time? Ling Huashua frowned. As for Ling Yue, her expression turned ugly. Ever since she said that she wanted to marry the angel race, Ling Yue had been very sensitive to the angel race. Behind him, Ling Piao and the rest curled their lips into a smile. There was a cold glint in their eyes when they glanced at Lu Ming. Who is the angel race? Is Gabbert here? Ling Huashua asked. If Gabbert came personally, things would be troublesome. No, 2 old men from the angel race have come. Their cultivations are unfathomable. In addition, 2 young men have come. They are Gabbert's followers. Gabbert did not come personally. The burly man from the elf race reported. Ling Huashua frowned. After all, the angel race was one of the top 10 races. Moreover, they had the heavenly palace backing them. They were no small matter. No matter who came, they could not be underestimated. Invite them in. Ling Huashua instructed. At the scene, many elves were sighing, their hearts itching unbearably. Originally, they were still looking forward to knowing who had obtained the seed of the holy tree. But now, they didn't know for the time being. They could only suppress the curiosity in their hearts and wait. Sir, a few burly men flashed and left the place. Not long after, a few figures stepped on the air and arrived. From afar, one could see the pure white holy light illuminating the sky. It was the holy light of the angel race. There were a total of 4 angels. There were 2 old angels and 2 young angels. They were all covered in pure white holy light. Their eyes were cold and arrogant. They looked down at all the elves with condescending eyes. Greetings, Elf Emperor. One of the old angels casually cupped his fists towards Ling Huashua. As for the other 3, they didn't move at all. It was as if it was enough to have a representative. I wonder why the friends of the angel race have suddenly come to my elf race? Ling Huashua said. It's very simple. Bring the elf princess Ling Yue back to my angel race's genius, Gabbert. The elder from the angel race said. His face was like a horse's face, and his eyes were cold. He looked a little unreasonable. His tone was as if he was giving an order. It was as if he said that others would do. Ling Huashua's expression darkened. Many of the elves of the elf races them. If they wanted to form a marriage alliance with the elf tribe and marry the elf princess, they should at least make it a little more grand. Did they just send a few people over, gave a command, and then wanted to take the elf princess away? This was an insult to my daughter, Yue, doesn't seem to be engaged to Gilbert. How could they be married? Lin, of Elf Emperor, what do you mean by this? The old angel looked at Ling Huashua. His face darkened as he continued, you sent someone to talk to young Master Gabbert. Do you want to go back on your word now? Are you playing with young Master Gabbert? Are you playing with my angel race? Ling Huashua's expression was somewhat ugly. He didn't know how to answer. Previously, he had indeed sent someone to communicate with Gabbert when he wanted to form a marriage alliance with the angel race. However, it was only a short communication and hadn't been officially decided yet. However, the other party said that he was playing with the angel race. This was not a small matter. Even if he was the elf emperor, he couldn't afford to bear it. Seeing that Ling Huashua didn't say anything, the old angel snorted coldly and continued, other than this, we have another reason for coming here. That is to kill someone here. As soon as these words were spoken, the elves' expressions became even uglier. Not only did the angel race want to take away the elf princess in a commanding tone, but they also wanted to kill someone here. This was simply outrageous. Did they really think that the elf race was just for decoration? Who do you want to kill? Ling Huashua asked in a deep voice. Who is Mu Yun? The old angel's cold voice rang out once again. His gaze swept across the surroundings, but after a round, it finally landed on Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He was a little surprised that these angels were actually looking for him. The other angels were also surprised. They all looked at Lu Ming. However, they quickly realized that it was most likely because of Ling Yue. Previously, Ling Yue had said that she was going to marry the genius of the angel race, Gabbert. However, after that, Ling Yue had a fiancé called Mu Yun, causing an uproar. It would be strange if Gabbert let Lu Ming off. He had come to look for Lu Ming. I am Mu Yun. Hiding, it was obvious that he couldn't hide. Lu Ming generously admitted it. Immediately, the eyes of the four angels were like lightning, emitting a cold, killing intent. Very good, an ant-like thing. You dare to touch the person that young Master Gabbert has set his eyes on? You don't know life from death. I'll send you on your way. The old angel who had been speaking all this while spoke indifferently, as if he was looking down at an ant. After saying that, a pure white holy light slashed towards Lu Ming like a divine sword. Fast, fast to the extreme, and terrifying to the extreme. Dangerous, extremely dangerous. Lu Ming's body instantly tensed up. He wanted to dodge, but he discovered that his body couldn't move at all. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't move at all. It was as if he was suppressed by an invisible force. This is bad. Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. This old man from the angel race was too terrifying. His strength was boundless, far from what Lu Ming could contend against. The difference was too great. He couldn't even resist. Then I'm going to be killed just like that. As expected, women are a source of calamity. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Soon, the holy sword light was about to hit Lu Ming. If this sword hit Lu Ming, no matter how mysterious Lu Ming's forbidden body was, only death would await him. Even if Lu Ming was left with only one cell and could be resurrected, it would be useless. This sword would ensure that not a single cell would be left behind. At this critical moment, the elf emperor Ling Huashua made his move. A divine light burst out from Ling Huashua's hand. It arrived first and bombarded the holy light slashed by the old angel. There was no sound at all. There was no rumbling, no explosion, and no shockwaves that swept out in all directions. The old angel's sword light had disappeared without a sound. It didn't stir up any waves. Elf Emperor, what do you mean by this? The old angel looked at the elf emperor with a cold face. You can't kill him. Today, no one can kill him. Ling Huashua said. Lu Ming had made a great contribution to the elf race. Today, no matter what, Ling Huashua couldn't watch Lu Ming be killed.